Hello out there, you are welcome to Davetuts Academy, where we are devoted to building excellence in the STEM subjects. In our video today, we are going to be looking at one of the past questions from the WAEC WASSCE exam, and we are going to be focusing on the 2019 Objective Paper 1 exam. All of the questions from that exam, we are going to be looking at them in-depthly, explaining each of the questions, postulating the best way for you to go about solving them, and this is the aim of building excellence in you in such a way that you can handle this exam and come out in flying colors. So get your paper, get your biro, get your pencil. Let's walk along together. If you are here to subscribe to our channel, I wonder what you have been waiting for. Go ahead and click the subscribe icon, click on the notification bell, and then don't forget to like the video and share with your friends. Leave your comment. We want to get feedback from you so that we can keep doing what we know will be of help and benefit to you. And now, without much ado, let's head over to our video for today. Express correct to three significant figures 0.003597. The first question we need to answer is, how do we correct to three significant figures when we have given four significant figures? You can see we have 3, 5, 9, 7. That is a total of four significant figures. Significant figures meaning that those are figures that we can readily identify, but we're asked to express this particular number correct to three significant figures. As a rule of thumb, if we have all the numbers, all the numerals that we normally work with, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I want to approximate the numbers so that we can put them in some maybe decimal places, or in this case some significant figures. What we do is that any number from 9 to 5, we are going to round them up to 1. So this will round up to 1, okay, and then that one we will add to the previous number before we get to the number that we want to round off, okay. However, if the number is falling between 4 and 1, meaning 4, 3, 2, 1, will round down to 0. Okay, so this will round down to 0. And in this particular question, look at what we are given. We are given 0.003597. We know these are four significant figures that I want to reduce to three significant figures. So three significant figures will mean that we take 3, 5, and 9. But we don't just throw away 7. So we need to ask ourselves the question, okay, looking at considering 7 now, what are we going to do with that? And look at the explanation I just made. For 7, we need to round it up to 1, meaning that this 7 will become 1, and that 1 we add to the previous number, okay. And if you want to do that, 9 plus 1, okay, let me see, I'm just adding that. 9 plus 1, that is 10. So I write 0, remaining 1, I bring down 1 to 5. 5 plus 1, that will be 6. And then I have 3, then these two zeros, and I have my decimal place. So to express 0.003597 to three significant figures, the answer will be 0.00360. And looking at the options that we have, that will be option C as a correct answer. In this question, we're asked to evaluate 0.064 raised to power minus 1 over 3. Two mathematical rules that will help us is, first, a rule from decimal conversion to fractions, and then the rule of indices. And in the first case, if we have a decimal place like we have 0.064 here, 0.064 is the same thing as 64 divided by how many numbers do we have after the decimal point? We have 3, so I can write 3 zeros and then have 1 in front of them. Now that is the very first thing I want us to note. And then when we have a number raised to power a negative power, okay, this is the same as if we are having 1 over that number raised to the positive of the power. So if you are to employ these two rules to try and solve this particular question, that will imply that what we have from the question will now be 0.064 is now 64 over 1000. Okay, we have that raised to power minus 1 over 3, and because that power is a negative, that is just as if we are having 1 as a numerator of that particular number that we're having. 64 over 1000 is what we're having. We say we are doing 1 divided by 64 over 1000. You know that is the same as 1 times 1000 over 64. Okay, so this is going to give us 1000 over 64, and if we bring that into what we've been trying to solve, that means this will now become 1000 over 64, meaning that we have taken care of the negative sign of the power. Then we have this as 1 over 3. So if we want to further work on this, we can say, look at 1000. 1000 is the same as 10 raised to power 3. Okay, 64 is the same as 4 raised to power 3, because 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. That is 4 in 3 places. And the same is also applicable to 10 and 1000. It is 10 times 10, which is 100, times another 10, that will give us 1000. So all of this raised to power 1 over 3. And you can see I can separate this out and say this is the same as if I'm having 10 raised to power 3, then raised to power 1 over 3 over 4 raised to power 3, then raised to power 1 over 3. And this is as good as the product of the powers, in which 3 can cancel 3, and here 3 can also cancel 3, such that what I have is 10 over 4. And 10 over 4, I can divide the numerator and denominator by 2. 2 in 10 is 5, 2 in 4 is 2. So the answer to this question is 5 over 2. And if you look at the options that we are given, that is option A. 5 over 2 is the answer to this question. In this question, we are to solve for y, given that y plus 1 over 2 minus 2y minus 1 over 3 is equal to 4. So given that particular equation, we can say we want to find the LCM, and in this particular case, looking at the denominators of the two fractions, we have 2 and 3. There's no common factor between the two of them, so what we do is that we find the product of those two numbers. Now if you are to find the LCM of this particular two denominators, we just find the product of those two numbers is 2 and 3, and that product is 6. Okay, now 6 divided by 2 is 3. That 3 we are going to use to multiply the whole of this numerator in the first fraction. So we have 3 multiplied by y plus 1. Okay, then this negative sign minus, again 6 divided by 3, that is 2. That we will use to multiply the whole of this numerator in the second fraction. So we have minus 2 multiplied by 2y minus 1 is equal to, this is 4 as a whole number, but we can write it in fraction and say 4 is the same as 4 over 1. I'm doing this so that it can be easy for us to cross multiply. Okay, and if you have to cross multiply, that means 1 will be multiplying the whole of this numerator on the left hand side, and 6 will be multiplying 4. 1 times any number is that number, so this will just retain what it is. Then I can go ahead to open the bracket to say 3 times y is 3y. Okay, 3 times 1, that is 3. Then minus 2 times 2y, that is minus 4y. And then minus 2 times minus 1. Negative signs will multiply to become plus. Okay, then 2 times 1 will be 2. That will be equal to 6 multiplied by 4. 6 times 4 is 24. So we just need to simplify this by collecting like terms. Okay, 3y minus 4y. Okay, let me just write it as, this is 3y minus 4y. Okay, then 3 plus 2, that is 5. That is equal to 24. So in that case, 3y minus 4y will be minus y. When 5 moves to the right hand side, it will become minus. So we have is equal to 24 minus 5, meaning that we have minus y is equal to 24 minus 5 is 19. Since we want to solve for y, not minus y, we can divide both sides by minus 1, and with that, what will happen is that this negative sign and this negative sign, they will cancel out, and then our y will be minus 19, because 19 over minus 1 is minus 19. And looking at the option that we're given, we can see that option B is what corresponds to y is equal to minus 19, and that is the answer to this particular question. In this question, we have to simplify correct to 3 significant figures 27.63 raised to power 2 minus 12.37 raised to power 2. As a rule of thumb, what we are going to employ here, because I'm not going to be using the calculator, I want us to get our hands dirty. There's another video that I've solved in which all these questions from this particular exam paper have been solved with the calculator, the ones that can be solved with the calculator anyway. So here we want to get our hands dirty. Now there is a mathematical rule that we can employ to help us solve this question, and it is called the difference of two squares. And it is stated like this, that if we have the square of a number minus the square of another number, this answer can be obtained as the product of the sum of the two numbers and the difference of the two numbers. So you can see a square minus b square is equal to a plus b, which is the sum of the two numbers, multiplied by a minus b, which is the difference between the two numbers. So in this particular case, we need to find the sum and the difference of those two numbers. So that's what we're going to be doing right about now, and then that means I can say 27.63 raised to power 2 minus 12.37 raised to power 2 is equal to 27.63 plus 12.37. Okay, now I won't have enough space. Let me just move this. Okay, multiply by 27.63 minus 12.37. So these are the algebra processes that we needed to carry out so that we can solve for this particular question. And this is what I'm going to do. Let's do it like this. We have 27.63 and we want to add 12.37 to that. What are we going to get? 3 plus 7, that is 10. So I can write 0 and I can bring my 1 to this. 6 plus 3, that is 9. 9 plus 1, that is 10. Again, I write 0. There's a remaining 1. 7 plus 2, that is 9. 9 plus 1, that is 10 again. I still have 1 that I can bring forward here. Then I can say 2 plus 1 plus this particular 1, that will be 4. So here I have 40 as the answer. But for this particular case, the difference of the two numbers, I can say 27.63 now minus 12.37. So I can also find this particular algebra. Okay, here 3 minus 7, I will need to borrow 1 from 6 to make it 13. 13 minus 6, that is 6. 13 minus 7, that is 6. Okay, then here I've borrowed 1. I have 5 remaining. 5 minus 3, that is 2. Okay, so 7 minus 2, that is 5, and then 2 minus 1, that is 1. So the two numbers that I need to multiply now are 40 and 15.27. So these are the two numbers that I need to evaluate to find the answer to this particular question that we are asked. Now let me just do this as I would have loved to do it. I'm seeing that here I have 15.26 and here I'm having 40. Okay, now these two numbers I can try and evaluate directly to say I'm having 15.26 multiplied by 40.00. okay, I know that 0 multiplied by any number is 0. This 0 coming from the right hand side, this other 0 is also 0 or true. Okay, this 0 will also give me 0 or true. Okay, and you can see the number I'm using to multiply is actually being the number that I'm starting the evaluation from. So in the first case I started here, in the second case I started under it, in the third case I started under it. Now 4 times 6, that is 24. Okay, so I can write 4. I know I'm having 2 as remainder. 4 times 2 is 8, plus that 2, that is 10. So I write 0. There's still 1 that I'm remaining. 4 times 5, that is 20, plus that 1, that is 21. So I can write 1, remaining 2. 4 times 1, that is 4, plus that particular 2, that will be 6. So here I can just bring in the sum of all of these and then place in the decimal place. How am I going to place that? I'm going to count the number that are on the right hand side of the decimal point, and then the total I'm going to reflect in this my answer. So I have, let me use red ink, I have 2, 6, 0 and 0. That makes 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4. So my decimal place is going to come here. So meaning that what I'm looking for is actually that my answer is coming to be 610.4000, but we are told to find the answer correct to 3 significant figures. Okay, and even looking at all the options that we are having, you can see only option D is having 610, because if you take 4, I want to round up to 3 significant figures. 4 will be rounded down to 0. So that 0, if we add to 610, it will still be 610. So the answer to this particular question is option D. And you can see, understanding the simple rule of mathematics that we can employ the difference of 2 squares had helped us to solve this question easily, and we got our answer to be 610 without using the calculator. Isn't that lovely? I think that's great. In this question, we are told that if 7 plus y is equal to 4 under modulo 8, we are to find the least value of y in the case in which there is a range of value for y that 10 is less than or equal to y, which is less than or equal to 30, meaning that we have 10 is less than or equal to y, which is less than or equal to 30. This implies that the values of y that we can use will start from 10, 11. We have 10 because they said less than or equal to. That or equal to qualifies 10 to be there. So 12, 13, 14, up to 28, 29, and 30 is also included. So these are the values that we are concerned about. But we need to understand how to carry out operations under modulo 8. Now, we have done an extensive video on modular arithmetic. You can do well to check out that particular video. The link is being flashed now, or you can also check the link in the description to this video so that you can have a good grasp of how to solve questions on modular arithmetic. We use very simplified method for you to get it. We use a clock in which we have the clock is operating under modulo 12. Okay, so you can actually relate with that to understand the video. But for this particular case, when we are talking about modulo 8, that means that we are talking about the multiples of 8. Okay, so modulo 8, we imply that we are talking about multiples of 8. For example, we have 8 times 1, that is 8, times 2, 16, times 3, 24, times 4, 32, times 5, 40, and so on. All right, now looking at this first case, we are, if you want to say that the value of y can be 8, we want to say that 7 plus 8, but already they are saying that y should be a number starting from 10, so we cannot look at 8. So this is knocked out. Then we need to move to 16. In short, 8 is knocked out, 32 is also knocked out, 40 is also knocked out. Why? Because those values already, they are not within the range of value that we are given, which is between 10 and 30. So we need to work with 16 and 24. Okay, now if we want to do that, in the first case we are told that we have 7 plus y is equal to 4 under modulo 8. Now Under modulo 8, like I explained before, means that we are using multiples of 8. Now, this 4 is actually the remainder. That's why you need to check that video for you to understand it. It's the remainder. Then it will be adding to the multiples of 8. And since we've knocked out 8, the next multiple that we can use is what? Is 16. So we have this as 16. Or if that is not the case, the other case is for us to say we have 7 plus y is equal to 4 plus the multiple of 8. And what is that next multiple of 8 that we have? It is 24. So either of this is going to give us our answer. But look at the caveat. We are told that we have to find the least value. So we should put that in mind, that is either of these two, but we are looking at the solution with what? The least value among the two. So if we are to just solve that, we can say here we are going to have 7 plus y is equal to 4 plus 16 is 20, such that y will be 20 minus 7. Okay, and we know that 20 minus 7 is 13. All right, in this second case we have 7 plus y is going to be 4 plus 24 is 28. All right, so y will be 28 minus 7. And what is 28 minus 7? That is 21. And now this is where our condition needs to kick in. We are told already that y should be between 10 and 30. Okay, that is the first condition. And looking at 13, yes, 13 is between 10 and 30, because look at all the numbers we listed: 10, 11, 12. Yes, we have 13. That's interesting. Then here y is 21. It's also within that range, because we get to 14, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So it's also in that range. So these two are actually within that range, but we are looking for what? The least value. And what's the least value between 13 and 21? We can see that using this condition, the least value for our solution is nothing but 13. So the least value is 13 because it is lesser than 21. And looking at our options, we can see that option B, that is 13. And so our answer to this question is option B, 13. That is the least value that satisfies this equation, that 7 plus y is equal to 4 under modulo 8. All right. In this question, we are told that if T is a set of prime numbers and M is a set of whole numbers, and the two of them, T and M, are subsets of the universal set, which is defined as X, in which 0 is less than X, which is less than or equal to 10, and X is also an integer, we are to find the complement of T intersects the complement of M. All right. So now, for us to solve this question, the very first thing for us is to define all of the sets that we are given. And I would love to start with the universal set, so that we will know what are the elements of this T and M, which are subsets of that universal set. Now look at the universal set. We are told that 0 is less than X, which is less than or equal to 10. Since 0 is less than X and X is an integer, that means 0 is not going to be included, but that universal set will be starting from 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I can say this up to 10, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. Now let me just write it out here so that you can get a better clarity. So we have our U. So we have the universal set is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so we included 10 because they said S is less than or equal to 10. So those are rule of thumbs that we need to take note of so that we don't make mistake. Then interestingly, we are told that T, let's take T first. T is a set of prime numbers. Now the first thing we need to notice that T is a subset. Look at this, it is a subset of the universal set. Being a subset of the universal set means that all the elements that we have in T must belong to that universal set. So looking at the universal set, where are the prime numbers that we need to pick out from here? The prime numbers are the numbers that they are whole and they can only be divided by 1 and by themselves, but it is not 1. 1 is not included in the prime numbers. So here, looking at all the numbers, we can see 2 is a prime number because we can say 2 can divide itself, and then 1 can be used to divide 2. It will still remain 2. The same thing with 3, the same thing with 5, the same thing with 7, the same thing with that is all. Okay, so 2, 3, 5, 7 are the set of values that belongs to T, which is the prime number. Okay, then let's look at M. In this particular case, M, we are told that are odd numbers. M is the set of odd numbers. Where are the odd numbers in this particular case? The odd numbers are the numbers that we have a remainder when divided by 2. So they are not only divided by 2. That means that we have 1, okay, 3, 5, 7, and 9. These are the sets that belongs to M. Now, since we have defined this, now we are asked to find the intersect of the complement of T and the complement of M, meaning that first we must find the complement of T. Now, from this question, we can say that if we have defined T as this, therefore the complement of T, we can also define that the complement of T will be the numbers that are in the universal set, but they are not in T. That's the idea of the complement. They are in the universal set, but they are not in this particular set that we are looking at. Now, looking at that, we can see that 1 is in the universal set, but it's not in T. So we have 1, okay. 2 is in the universal set and is also in T. So 2 does not qualify. The same with 3. But 4 is in the universal set, is not in T. So we have 4, okay. Here we have 5 in T and 5 in the universal set, so that does not qualify. The same thing, we have 7. So the other numbers, we can just pick them out. So we have 1, 4, 6, 8, 9, and 10. So these are the complements of T. Then the same with M, we can find this complement. Since we have found M already, the complement of M will be the elements that are not in M, but they are in the universal set. Okay, so let's look for those elements. Already 1 is there in both the universal set and M, so that does not qualify. But 2, we can find 2 in the universal set, we cannot find it in M, so we start with 2. 3 is in both, so that's not there. 5 is in both, that's not there. But look at this, we have 4, so 4 is in the universal set, but it's not in M. Okay, 5 we have said does not qualify. 6 is in the universal set, is not in M. Okay, 7 is in the universal set and it is in M, it doesn't qualify. 8 is in universal set, is not in M. Okay, 9 is in both. Then we have 10 to be in the universal set but not in M. But our question is not done. We're asked to find the intersect of the complement of T and the complement of M, and that means we are going to look at the numbers that are common to both the complement of T and the complement of M. Let's do that together. You can see we have 4, okay, we have 6, okay, we have 8, and lastly we have 10. So meaning that from our question, what we are asked to find, the complement of T intersects the complement of M that we are asked to find. If we want to list those elements, that will be 4, 6, 8, and 10. That is our answer. And if you look at the option, we can see 4, 6, 8, and 10 are reflecting in option A. 4, 6, 8, and 10. And this is the way to go about solving this particular question if you come across it in the exam. The correct answer here is option A. Here we have a question on logarithm, and we are asked to evaluate log to base 3 of 9 minus log to base 2 of 8, all divided by log to base 3 of 9. Now, looking at this, we can see that we have bases and the number whose logarithm we are finding, but as a rule of thumb, we can recall that, let's recall the law of logarithm that will be of use to us. If you have log to a particular number, and that same number is raised to a power, we can say this is the same as n log to base a of a, and log to the base of a number in which we are finding the logarithm of that number is always 1. Though this is n times 1 because log to base a of a is 1. Okay, so if you want to apply that principle here, then we can see that what we'll have is log to base 3, but instead of 9 we can express 9 as 3 raised to power 2, okay, minus log to base 2. Instead of writing it, we know 8 is 2 raised to power 3, then we can divide that logarithm by the log to base 3 of, again we are having 9 and we are saying can write 9 as 3 raised to power 2. So this will give us this power can actually come to the front of the log just as expressed in this law that asks us to recollect. So we can have 2 multiplied by log to base 3 of 3, okay, minus 3 multiplied by log to base 2 of 2, and we are having those as the numerator. Then at the denominator we are having 2 multiplied by log to base 3 of 3. Now looking at all of this, we can see that this is going to be 1, log to base 2 of 2 is 1, log to base 3 of 3 is also 1, and in that case what we are going to have is that we are going to have 2 minus 3 over 2, and 2 minus 3 is minus 1 over 2, so this is nothing but minus 1 over 2. And looking at our option, we can see option D is the correct answer. Minus 1 over 2 is the answer to this logarithmic question. In this question, we are being asked that if 23 to base y is equal to 1111 to base 2, we are to find the value of y. This is as expressed as this, that we are giving 23 to base y is equal to 1111 to base 2. The best thing for us to do is to convert both of these number bases to base 10. And how do we convert to base 10? We say 2 multiplied by y, okay, plus this 3 now, 3 multiplied by y. Then we start numbering the powers of y from 0, starting from the right hand side and going to the left hand side. Here this is 0, this will be 1 because we will increase the order of the power, okay. Then we can say that is equal to, again we have 1 multiplied by 2 plus 1 multiplied by 2 plus 1 multiplied by 2 plus 1 multiplied by 2. Each of these ones multiplied by the base, but we also increase the power of the base starting from the right hand side. So I'm starting from this last 2. This is 0, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Okay, so we just need to open up this. 2 multiplied by y raised to power 1 is 2y, okay, plus 3 multiplied by y raised to power 0. Y raised to power 0 is 1. Any number raised to the power of 0 is 1. Then 1 times 3, that is 3, okay, is equal to 1 multiplied by 2 raised to power 3 is 8, okay, plus 2 raised to power 2, that is 4. So I can just even multiply that out. So I know that 1 times 8 is 8. Let me just rewrite that. So I can say 2 raised to power 3 is 8. 8 times 1, that is 8, okay, plus 2 raised to power 2 is 4. 4 times 1, that is 4, plus 2 raised to power 1 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 2 raised to power 0 is 1. 1 times 1, that is 1, okay. So we can say we have 2y plus 3 is equal to 8 plus 4, that is 12, plus 2, that is 14, plus 1, that is 15. So that 2y will be 15 minus 3. I know 15 minus 3 is 12. And then y, the value of the y we are looking for will be 12 divided by 2, because we are dividing both sides by 2, and 2 can go into 1, 2 can go in 12, 6. Therefore the value of y is nothing but 6. You can easily check this with your calculator, or just substitute back, and you'll see that that's going to give you the very correct answer. In this case, you have, if you want to cross check, this will be on the left hand side. Left hand side, we are going to have 2 times 6 plus 3. What's 2 times 6? That is 12 plus 3. 12 plus 3 is 15. Okay. On the right hand side, if you want to check, you can just say, okay, you see, we even have it here, is 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1, and that is 15. And you can see that is actually the correct answer. So looking at our options, the correct answer is option C. 6 is the value of y that we're asked to find. In this question, we're told that if 6, p, and 14 are consecutive times in an arithmetic progression, that is an AP, we have to find the value of p. Understanding the algorithm of arithmetic progression will help us to solve this question, because in this case we are told that we have 6, p, and 14 as consecutive times, and if we want to use the understanding of the common difference d, we know that d is a common difference. The common difference is actually evaluated by subtracting terms that are sequential from one another, meaning that the value of the common difference will have to be the difference between p and 6, which is also the difference between 14 and p. Okay, so p minus 6 is a common difference, and at the same time 14 minus p is also the common difference. Now looking at this is just a linear equation that we can collect like terms. So if we move minus p to the left hand side, we have p plus p is equal to 14. We can move minus 6 to the right hand side, that will become plus 6, so that we have 2p is equal to 20, and we are to divide both sides by 2. We'll see that on the left hand side the 2 cut out, and on the right hand side 2 can go in 20 to give us 10. Therefore the value of p that we are looking for is 10, and from what we say, that means that those set of values are 6, 10, and 14. And if we want to find the common difference, we can see that is 10 minus 6, okay, that is 4, and it's also the same thing as 14 minus 10, which is also 4. So for this particular question, we can see that the answer is that the value of p that we're looking for is 10, and option B is the correct answer. Here in this question, we are told to evaluate this particular surd expression: 2 root 28 minus 3 root 50 plus root 72. Now if we look at the options that we are given, we can see that we are having root 7 and root 2 as the surd form that we have there, meaning that here that we're having 28, 50, and 72, we should find a way to simplify them to their base operation. So we can say here, you want to solve 2 root 28 minus 3 root 50, okay, plus root 72. In a bid to simplify this, let's look at the constituent element of the surds that can help us to simplify this particular surd. Particularly, we'll be looking out for numbers whose square root we can find just straight without remaining the surd. So for example, for 28, we can say 28 is the same as 4 times 7, because you know that the square root of 4 is 2. So that can help us to simplify it. The same thing for 50. You know 50 is 25 times 2, okay, and 25 we can easily find the square root. Then for 72, 72 is also 36 times 2, and 36 we can easily find the square root of that, not plus, we're having 36 times 2, okay. So meaning that what we are now having is 2 multiplied by the square root of 4 multiplied by the square root of 7, if I want to break this out, minus 3 multiplied by the square root of 25 multiplied by the square root of 2, okay, plus the square root of 36 multiplied by the square root of 2. Okay, so if I'm to just simplify this, I can say 2 multiplied by the square root of 4, which is also 2, multiplied by root 7, because we can't find the square root of that directly, minus 3 multiplied by the square root of 25, which is 5, okay, multiplied by root 2, plus the square root of 36, that is 6, then multiplied by root 2. You can see we are only having root 7 and root 2, which is looking like the options that we are given already. 2 multiplied by 2 is 4, so we have 4 root 7, okay. 3 multiplied by 5, that is 15, so we have minus 15 root 2, okay, then plus 6 root 2. We can further simplify this by saying what we have here is, since we have only a singular root 7, that will still be 4 root 7, then minus 15 root 2 plus 6 root 2. We are having the same sort, so we can actually carry out algebraic operation on 15 and 16. Minus 15 plus 6, that will be minus 9, okay, root 2. And so we can look at our options. Which one is 4 root 7 minus 9 root 2? We can see is option C, 4 root 7 minus 9 root 2. So that is the evaluation of this surd expression that we are given. Option C is the correct answer. If m ratio n is equal to 2 ratio 1, we are to evaluate 3m squared minus 2n squared over m squared plus mn. You can see that this is a question on ratio, and m ratio n is just as if we are having m ratio n was given to be 2 ratio 1. In this case, we can as well write it as, say, m over n is equal to 2 over 1. And by reason of proportionality, we can take the value of m to be 2 and we can take the value of n to be 1. If we are to say m can be taken as 2 and n can be taken as 1, we can use these two values in this particular equation that we are given, such that we can now have 3m squared minus 2n squared divided by m squared plus mn to be evaluated in such a way that we have it that instead of m, we are going to write 2, so 3 times 2 raised to the power 2 minus 2 times, instead of n, we are going to write 1, okay, divided by m squared, that will be 2 squared, plus mn will be 2 for m and 1 for n. So this is what we need to evaluate to get our correct answer. If we are to evaluate that, 2 raised to the power 2 is 4, 4 times 3, that is 12, okay, minus 2 times 1, that is 2, divided by 2 raised to the power 2 is 4, then plus 2 times 1, that is 2. So what we are going to have is 12 minus 2, that is 10, okay, 4 plus 2, that is 6. We can divide the numerator and denominator by 2. 2 can go in 6, we are going to have 3. 2 can go in 10, we are going to have 5, such that the solution to this question is 5 over 3. And if you look at the options that we are given, you can see option B here is 5 over 3, and that is the answer to this question. In this question, we are told that h varies directly as p and inversely as the square of y. Now, if h is 1, p is 8, and y is 2, our task is to find h in terms of p and y. Now, this is a classical example on variation, and because we are having a combo, we are having a direct variation and an inverse variation, this is how we go about it. First, for p, we are told that h varies directly as p, but that's not all. We're also given that it varies and inversely as the square of y. Inversely, we mean that we bring a division, okay, that's the implication of inverse, that is 1 over, then we are told the square of y, not just y, the square of y, so we have over y raised to the power 2. Now, for us to be able to find h in terms of p and y, we need to introduce a constant of proportionality that will knock out this variation sign, and instead of that we introduce an equality sign. So we say h is equal to k, which is the constant of proportionality, multiplied by p over y raised to power 2. Now in the question we are given that, look at the hint that we are given, that if h is 1, okay, p is 8 and y is 2. See, this particular set of values, what we are going to do is that we substitute them into this equation such that we'll say instead of h, now we have 1 instead of this h, is equal to k multiplied by p. Instead of p, what do we have? 8 over y is now 2, and so we have 2 raised to power 2. Okay, and from here we can see that therefore we can say 1 is equal to 8k over 2 raised to power 2 is 4. So we can have 4 here, 1, 4 in 8, that is 2, so that we have 1 is equal to 2k, and if we divide both sides by 2 just to find the value of k, again we can see that these two can cut these two such that k is equal to 1 over 2. Okay, now if we are to use that value of k as 1 over 2 in this particular equation, what we are going to have is this: our h is now going to be equal to, instead of k, since we've gotten the value of k to be 1 over 2, we have 1 over 2, okay, then multiplied by p over y raised to power 2. Now looking at this, it implies that h is equal to p over 2y squared, and that is option C from the options that were given. This is the solution to the question. In this question, we have to solve 4x squared minus 16x plus 15 is equal to 0. This is a classical quadratic equation of degree 2. You can see the highest power is 2, so it's of degree 2, and there are quite a number of ways you can use to solve this. You can just use completing the square method, the formula method, or the factorization method. Here, let's see how best you can solve this, how easiest, the choice that you want to do that will be befitting to get the correct options out of all these 4 that we are given. Now the equation we are given was 4x squared minus 16x plus 15 is equal to 0. Now there are so many various ways that you can go about employing this, and ideally I would like you to attempt whichever method you want to attempt, and let's compare our final answer together. But I'll be using the factorization method. Okay, let's try and see what we get if we try solving this with the factorization method. The factorization method will make use of the products of the roots and the sum of the root, and the product of the root will be the product of this, the first term, and this last term, 4x squared and 15. So there we have 4 times 15 to be 60, so we are looking for a product that amount to 60x squared. Okay, then the sum, your sum will amount to, here, the middle term, that is minus 16x, so we are looking for the sum to be minus 16x. Now the mandate before us is to look for 2 particular terms that if you multiply them you have 60x squared, and if you sum them we'll have minus 16x. Now this is the way I love to go about it. Okay, just as a rough sketch, let's take the products. We have 60, we have x squared. Okay, so let's just keep the x, but now you can try and do a division of 60. 2 can go in 60, we have that to give us 30. Okay, 2 can go in 30, we have that to give us 15. 3 we can use to divide 15 to give us 5, and then 5 we can use to divide 5 to give us 1. Let's look at the juxtaposition of these terms. Okay, these terms that we have here, let's look at it and try and see the one that will give us reasonable terms that we can multiply together to give 60x squared and we can add together to give minus 16x. Now you will notice that it is positive 60x squared, and we know by reason of algebra that if you multiply two negative numbers, okay, that's going to give you a positive number. So if you are to keep that in mind and we are to look at all these numbers that we are given, for example, we can say we want to use 2 and 2, then 3 and 5. You know, 2 times 2, that will give us 4, then 3 times 5, that will give us 15. So if we have x, add x to the 2. Now, can we multiply these two to give us 60? Yes, it can give us 60x squared. But can we add them or can we subtract them to give us minus 16x? Now, because if we multiply these two, they will give us 60x squared. If you also use the negative values, the negatives will multiply each other to be positive, like I have stated here. Then the numbers, they will also, 4 and 15 will be 60, x and x will be s squared. So the product is quite usable in that case. But what about the sum? If we are going to sum this, if we are taking the positive values, if we said 4x plus 15x, of course that is 19x, all right? So that is not giving us minus 16x. If we take the negatives, minus 4x minus 19, that will be minus 19x. Of course, is also not giving us this minus 16x. So this is not going to be useful for us, okay? Now, alternatively, if you want to pick these 2 and these 3, okay, and also these 2 and these 5, so we have 2 and 3, that is 6, okay, then 2 and 5, that is 10, okay. Of course, we are also working with x. We can see that in the multiplication of the 2, definitely we are going to have 60x squared, okay. In the addition of the 2, that's going to give us 16x. But hold on, wait a minute, that is looking like what we are really looking for. But we know that if we take the negative of these two numbers and we are to operate on them, like say we have minus 6x, okay, and minus 10x, we know the product, okay. If we are to multiply these two, that will mean the negative multiplied by the negative will give us a positive. 6 times 10 will give us 60. X times x will give us s squared. So that is on track. But not stopping there, if we're also going to sum these two, so you still have the same minus 6x and minus 10x. But what we are doing is that we are adding them, okay? We are adding them together. All we are going to have is minus 6x plus minus 10x. That is minus 6x minus 10x, which is minus 16x. So, wow, this definitely is what we are looking for. And since we are getting these two variables, minus 6x and minus 10x, what we are going to do is this. Let me clear my board first. So we got two terms. We got minus 6x and minus 10x. Now these two, what we are going to do is this. Instead of writing minus 16x, we are going to write the sum of these two, such that we are going to have, I would love to divide my board now, okay? So I'm going to have this 4x squared instead of minus 16x. Since I know that the sum of minus 6x and minus 10x is the same as minus 16x, I can just say I have this as minus 6x minus 10x plus 15 is equal to 0. And if you can see that I've really not changed anything in this equation, because minus 6x minus 10x is minus 16x. That is the consistency that will help us to solve questions on quadratic equation using the factorization method. Now, I need to collect like terms. Look at this. I have 4x squared minus 6x. I can see that x is common to the two of them. I have x here, I have x here. But additionally, I know that 2 can be used to divide 4, and 2 can also be used to divide 6. So in that case, what I'm going to have is this. That means that 2x is common to these first two terms. Now, from 4x squared, if I have taken 2x out, it will still remain 2x because 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, x times x is x squared. Now minus 6x divided by 2x, that is 3, because 2x times minus 3 is minus 6x. That's the consistency. Okay, now looking at this minus 10x and minus 15, what is the common factor that I can pick from them? I know that 5 can actually go in 10 and 5 can also be used to divide 15, meaning that I can easily factor out 5. But note this is where students make mistake. You need to take note of your sign. Yeah, if I say I'm saying minus 5 minus 10x over minus 5, I'm having minus 10x divided by minus 5. The negative sign will cancel each other. Okay, then 5 here 1, 5 in 10 2, and I still retain that x. So here I'm going to have 2x. Okay, then in the second case I'm having 15, a positive 15 divided by minus 5. Okay, now look at this. A positive number divided by a negative number will be a negative number. 5 can go here 1, 5 can go in 15 3. Okay, so this is going to be minus 3. So I can write minus 3 is equal to 0. And you can see I can now have 2x minus 3 common to these two terms of the equation as I am solving them. And now I can just factor out those recurring 2x minus 3 by saying I have let me use another ink here. I have 2x minus 3 is common to both now. If I've taken 2x minus 3 out of here, what is remaining? I still have this particular 2x, this one here. And now I've taken 2x minus 3 out. What is remaining? I have minus 5 is equal to 0. Okay, now looking at this, that means we have 2x minus 3 is equal to 0, or 2x minus 5 is equal to 0, because those are the two factors that we are considering. Okay, so in the first case, that means 2x is equal to 3 when this minus 3 moves to the right hand side, or I have it as 2x is equal to what? Is equal to 5. If I divide both sides by 2, in the two instances, these two will cancel here and these two will also cancel here. Now here I will have it as x is equal to 3 over 2. What is 3 over 2? Is the same as 1 whole number 1 over 2, because 2 can go in 3 in one place, that will still remain 1. So I have this 1 here over the same 2, and here I can say x is equal to 2 can go in 5, that will be in 2 places. Okay, 2 times 2 is 4, 5 minus 4, that is 1, which is the remainder over 2. So that means that for my question, what I'm having as my answer is 1 whole number 1 over 2, or 2 whole number 1 over 2. And if I look at the options, you can see option B here is saying 1 whole number 1 over 2, or 2 whole number 1 over 2 is the solution to this question. All right, in this question we are to evaluate 0.42 divided by 2.5, all divided by 0.5 times 2.05. Now ideally, if you have a number like this, like say we have 0.42, this is a decimal place number, we can actually put it in the proper fraction format, and this is what we are going to do. We are going to write the digits that we have 42. Okay, and then count the number of digits to the right of the decimal place. This is the decimal place here, and we have 4 and 2. So those are 2 digits to the right of the decimal place, meaning that we can divide this by, let's put those 2 digits as zeros, and we add 1 to the front of it. In the same vein, we can say 2.5, we can write it as, now we have the 2 numbers, that's 25. How many numbers do we have after the digit? It's only 1, it's only 5. So I can write just a singular 0, and I can put 10 into that. Now 0.5 in the same vein we only have 5 as the digits. Then how many number after the decimal place? Just 1, so we have only 1 0 again. And then 2.05. For this we are going to have 205. You can see in the numerator we are not putting any decimal, we are writing the whole number, but we are going to divide by how many numbers of digits do we have after the decimal place. We have 0 and 5. That's 2, so we write 2 zeros and we bring 1 to the front. So as a rule of thumb, this is the way to convert decimal place numbers to proper fractions. So in the cases in which we have all this, we are now going to input these proper fractions so that we can express this. And I'm saying that I'm going to make minimal use of the scientific calculator so that you can see how to work this out by yourself. So instead of 0.42, what do we have? We have 42 over 100, okay, divided by, instead of 2.5, what do we have? We have 25 over 10, okay. All of these are going to be divided by 0.5, that will give us 5 over 10, okay, times 2.05 is 205 over 100. Now this is what we are going to be working with, and if we are to further express this, we can have this as 42 over 100. Because we are having division, we are going to reverse 10 and 25. 10, which is the denominator, will come to be the numerator. The numerator, which is 25, will come to be the denominator, and we can then change this division sign to multiplication, okay. So that's times 10 over 25, and this whole numerator is being divided by 5 over 10 times 205 over 100. So let's take it piecewise. Here we can just say this 10 will cancel out one of the zeros there. It's as if we are saying 100 is being divided by 10. We have only 10, okay. So we still have, so we are going to have this. In the first case, we have 42 over 10 times 25 is 250. Now I want you to see what I'm doing. This long division, I will just write it as divided by, okay. Now 5, let's just call this, we can still call this 5 here 1, 5 in 100, that is 20, okay. 5 can go in 24, 5 can go in 205, 5 in 20, that is 4, 5 in 5, that is 1. So we have, this is divided by 41 over 10 times 4, that is 40. All right, well, we can still further divide this, or better still, let's also reverse this to say this is the same thing as 42 over 250 now times 40 over 41, okay, because when we change the division sign to multiplication, we have to reverse the fraction. So here we can cut the zeros out, and then we have 42 times 4. 42 times 4 is nothing but 80. 42 times 4, 2 times 4 is 8, okay. 4 times 4, that is 16, divided by 25 times 41, okay. 25 times 41, 25 is just as if you are multiplying by 1 over 4 when it's a fraction like this. So because 25 is actually 1 over 4 of 100, they want to multiply that at 41. So this is 1 over 4 of a whole number. We want to find the 1 over 4 of 41. That will be 10.25. And this is what we need to input into our calculator now. 168 divided by 10.25. You see, this is just the same as 672 over 41. I can just, this is 16.39024, okay, 39024, 16.39024. So I can just take this off. However, looking at the question, we are told to leave the answer in standard form. The standard form will mean that we are only going to have a singular entry of the decimal place directly after the first number. Then any other thing that will be coming will be times 10 raised to power the appropriate power. Now, look at this. We have 10 point. Now look at this. We have 16.3924. This decimal place, if it's going to navigate here, that means we multiply by 10 raised to a positive power of 1 because it has moved only a singular place. So this is nothing but 1.639, okay, times 10 raised to power 1. And if you look at the options that we are given, you can see that option B is what corresponds to this particular answer, okay. 1.639 times 10 raised to power 1. That's the correct answer. In this question, we are to simplify log to base 10 of 6 minus 3 log to base 10 of 3 plus 2 over 3 log to base 10 of 27. And we are given these options, of which our answer is 1 among them. Now, if you look at the options that we are given in options A to D, you can see that all of them are expressed in terms of log to base 10, meaning that log to base 10 is going to be retained in this particular question if we are to solve it. Then that will give us a hint that what if we find a way to simplify and lump all these logarithms together. And then if that is what we can do, we can say that we know by the rules of logarithm that if you have log to a particular base of, let's say, a particular number m, then minus log to that particular base also of n, if it is minus or even if it is plus, this is the same as log to a singular base, okay, of mn. Now it is multiplication of those logarithms if it is a positive. However, if it is a negative number here, when we have m over n. So that is the rule of logarithm that is effectively going to help us to solve this question, okay. So if we are to look at that rule and want to apply it, we will simplify this question. But another rule that we can also make use of is, look at this, if 3 log to base 10 of 3, okay. If we also to look at that, there is another rule that says that if you have a log to a particular base, let me say b of c, this is the same as this particular coefficient that is coming in front of the logarithm can actually be taken to be the power of that logarithm. So we can say it is log to base b of c raised to power a. Now this we are to use for the second case. This is another rule that we can apply, okay. So if we are to use that in this particular case, first we know our question will now become log to base 10 of 6 minus, instead of 3 log to base 10 of 3, we now have log to base 10 of 3 raised to power 3, applying this second rule here, okay. Then plus, instead of 2 over 3 also, we are going to have log to base 10 of 27 raised to power 2 over 3. Now you can see that we have been able to successfully express this as the format of this particular first logarithm law that we are looking at. And if you want to do that, we can just now take a singular log to base 10, then this will be 6 divided by 3 raised to power 3, okay. The plus will become multiplication times 27 raised to power 2 over 3. Now this is the ideal thing that we need to do. We can now go ahead to try and solve for these particular expressions, 3 raised to power 3 and 27 raised to power 2 over 3. Now this is 27 raised to power 2 over 3 will be 27. The cube root of it, that's the raised to power 3 that we have as a power, and then we can actually say we want to square all of this. Now if we do that, that is the cube root of 27 is asking us for a number that we can that we can use to multiply itself in 3 times in 3 places, that can give us 27. And if we consider 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27. So it's as if we are saying the cube root of 3 raised to power 3 all raised to power 2. So the cube root of 3 raised to power 3 is 3 raised to power 2. Okay, so here we can just say our question that we are trying to solve will now give us log to base 10 of 6. Instead of division, now we can say times 1 over 3 raised to power 3 is 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. Okay, then times here 3 raised to power 2, which is 27 raised to power 2 over 3 is 9. We can say that is 9 over 1. So we can just cut. 9 can go here 1, 9 in 27, that is 3. Okay, 3 can go here 1, 3 in 6, that is 2. So our final answer is nothing but log to base 10 of 2. Okay, and if you look at our options A, B, C, and D, you can see option B is log to base 10 of 2, and that happens to be the correct answer for this question. Option B is the answer. In this question, we are told that Bala sold an article for 6,900 naira and made a profit of 15%. We are asked to calculate his percentage profit if he had sold it for 6,600 naira. Now, the formula that will help us to solve this is the formula for the percentage profit. Formula for percentage profit is given as the selling price. Since it is profit, the selling price will be greater than the cost price. So we have selling price minus cost price. I didn't mean that is a loss. If it's percentage loss, we would have had cost price minus selling price. But in either case, it will be divided by the cost price times 100%. But looking at this particular question, we are being confronted with 2 case scenarios. The first case is the one in which he sold it for 6,900, which was the reality. But assuming he had sold it for 6,600, we are to get the percentage profit that is going to make. To do that, what we are going to employ is this. We are going to use this formula in the 2 case scenarios. In the first case, we have the selling price and the percentage profit. We can use that to get the cost price, okay? And then since we now know the cost price and we already know the selling price in the second case, we can now use that to get the percentage profit. So that's exactly what we are going to do, and I would just like to divide the board into 2 just to capture those 2 scenarios. So in the first case, we have initially we have it that the selling price was 6,900, okay, that's 6, and then the percentage profit was given as 15%. If you are to plug these values into this particular equation for percentage profit, we are going to have it that 15% is equal to the selling price, that is 6,900, minus the cost price, which we are looking for, divided by the cost price, okay, times 100%. Now if we just want to simplify this, we can say these percentages, they cancel out, and then if you cross multiply, 100 is at the numerator. If it comes here to become a denominator, cost price is the denominator on the right hand side. If it goes to the left hand side, it become a numerator. So we have 15 over 100 of the cost price is equal to 6,900 minus cost price. 15 over 100 is 0.15 CP. When this minus CP moves to the left hand side, it will become plus CP, okay, is equal to 6,900. So 0.15 plus CP, okay, just 0.15 CP plus CP will give us 1.15 CP is equal to 6,900. And to get the value of the CP, is just to divide both sides by 1.15, okay, divide both sides by 1.15, so that this and this will cancel, and then our cost price will be 6,900 divided by 1.15. Let's use the calculator to compute that. We have 6,900 divided by 1.15. Oh, that is an exact figure. That's 6,000. So the cost price, the amount it cost Bala to actually get the article, was 6,000 naira. So now, since we already know that, and we are now looking at the second case scenario in which if he had sold it for 6,600 naira, what is his profit? That percentage profit now, that new percentage profit, we can get using this formula of the selling price, which is now 6,600, okay, minus the cost price, which is what we just got at 6,000 here, okay, divided by the cost price, that's 6,000 times 100%, okay, that's the percentage profit. And here 6,600 minus 6,000 is 600 over 6,000 that we have, then multiply by 100%. This is just a matter of dividing all through. 600 can go here 1, 600 can go in 6,000, that will be 10, 10 can go here 1, 10 can go in 100% to give us 10%, meaning that the percentage profit that Bada would have made if he had sold it for 6,600 is 10%, and is actually consistent, because look at the initial amount that were given that he sold the article for, the 6,900, and that is 15%. Now for 6,600 is going to be lesser, that's 10%. So yeah, the correct answer is B, option B, 10%. All right. In this question, we are told that if 3p is equal to 4q and 9p is equal to 8q minus 12, we are to find the value of pq. Now, there are quite a number of ways you can choose to try and solve this question. For example, in this particular first equation, you can say 3p is equal to 4q. Therefore, maybe you can say p is equal to 4 over 3q. And that value you can use in the second equation here by saying 9p is equal to 8q minus 12. So if you substitute for the value of q, then you can have something like 9p. Let me use blue ink. You can have something like 9p is equal to 8, but instead of, interestingly, so now since you have the value of p, you can now say 9 multiplied by p, that will be 4 over 3q, okay, is equal to 8q minus 12. And if you want to solve that, you can say 3 can be used to divide 9 here, and we have 3 remaining. 3 times 4, that is 12q, okay, is equal to 8q minus 12. If we take this 8q to the left hand side, that will be 12q minus 8q is equal to minus 12. 12q minus 8q is 4q is equal to minus 12. And if we want to get the value of q, we can divide both sides by 4, so that from here q will be, this 4 will cancel this 4, minus 12 divided by 4 will be minus 3, because a positive number dividing a negative number is negative, and 4 can go in 12 in 3 places. Since you have gotten q to be 3, then you can say from 3p is equal to 4q, okay, you can now say that since we have gotten q to be minus 3, this equation we can now say p will be 4 over 3 of q, but q is already minus 3, so we can just say of minus 3. 3 can go here 1, 3 in minus 3, that is minus 1, such that p is equal to 4 times minus 1, and that is minus 4. But look at the question. We're asked to find the value of pq. Is pq we are asked to find. Students, you don't stop here and say, look at the options, the answer is not there because I got minus 4, minus 3. We're asked to find the value of pq, meaning the product of p and q. And here we're going to have, what is the value of p? Minus 4. What's the value of q? Minus 3. Now, two negative numbers multiplying each other will be a positive number. So minus 4 times minus 3 will be plus 12. So I can just write that as 12. And looking at the option, you can see from the options that we are given, you'll be able to see that one of the options there is being given as 12, and that is option A, 12. Now, alternatively, you could have said that you want to solve this as a set of simultaneous equations, in which in the first case you have 3p is equal to 4q, and then in the second case you have 9p is equal to 8q minus 12. Now, in the first case, you could have said this is plus 0 or minus 0, because plus 0 will not have any effect on it. And you can see this is a set of simultaneous equations that I can choose to solve with any method you like, whether substitution method or elimination method. And in short, maybe you should just try that out. Okay, try it out and just see what you are going to get as a reason of practicing with questions like this, and you will see that eventually you will arrive at the same answer, that the product of p and q is 12. Okay, all right. In this question, we are told that if 0.25 raised to power y is equal to 32, we have to find the value of y. Look at the question that we are given. We are told that 0.25, okay, raised to power y is equal to 32. Looking at the particular question, what will help us is to express 0.25 as a proper fraction. And to do that, what we just have is, we have 0.25 will be 25 over 100, because we have two digits after the decimal place. That's why we are having multiples of 10 in two places. That's 100 right there at the denominator, because 25 over 100 will be 0.25. okay, so that will be 25 over 100 raised to power y is the same as 32. But look at this, when you say 25 over 100, we can divide, because 25 can be used to divide 100 to give us 4. Okay, 25 can go in 100 in 4 places. So what we have eventually is 1 over 4y, 1 over 4 raised to power y is equal to 32. Now, by reason of the law of indices, we know that if we have any number, say 1 over a raised to power m, this is the same thing as saying we are having a raised to power minus m. Okay, so if we are to apply that particular law in this particular case, that means here what we have is 4 raised to power minus y is equal to 32. Now look at these two bases. You can notice that both of them, 4 and 32, they are product of 2. So that means we could have said this is the same as we having, to express 4 as a multiple of 2, we know it is 2 raised to power 2, okay, and then we have our minus y. Then 32 is 2 raised to power 5. 2 multiplying itself in 5 places will give us 32. But now, since we are saying that the bases are going to be similar, we can just eliminate this raised to power 2, so that we have only 2 as the base, and then having 2 at the right hand side, we can just equate the power, since the bases are going to be equal. And in that case, another law of indices will tell us that if you have something like this, it's just the same as having 2 raised to power minus 2y. The powers can multiply each other to give us minus 2y, and that is equal to 2 raised to power 5. Now, this is the beauty of indices. Since the bases here, they are equal, definitely the power must be equal. So we therefore have that minus 2y is equal to 5, and if we divide both sides by minus 2, then y will be minus 5 over 2, because here on the left hand side minus 2 will cancel out and we have only y remaining, and on the right hand side we have minus 5 over 2. And looking at the option, you can see y being minus 5 over 2 is option A. Y is minus 5 over 2. That is the correct solution to this question. There are 8 boys and 4 girls in a lift. We are to find the probability that the first person who steps out of the lift will be a boy. This is a classical question on probability, and we need to know the number of boys and girls and the total numbers before we can be able to find out the probability of the boy getting out of the lift. Okay, so here from the question we can see that the number of boys is 8. We're told that we have 8 boys, okay, and the number of girls that was given as 4, okay. In that case, the total is 8 plus 4, and that is 12. So we have 12 children, 8 boys and 4 girls in the lift. Now the probability that the first person who steps out of the lift will be a sampling of one of the boys out of the total children, that is 12. So the probability of a boy stepping out of the lift will be the number of the boys over the total number of children in the lift, and in this case the number of the boys is 8 and the total is 12, and we can see that 4 can go in 8, we'll have 2, and 4 can go in 12, we have 3. So the probability we are asked to find is 2 over 3, and looking at the option, you can see option C is 2 over 3. That is the correct answer to this question. So here in this question, we're to simplify x squared minus 5x minus 14 divided by x squared minus 9x plus 14. We are to simplify this, and looking at the options, we can see that the features of all the options are only singular factors. There is not carrying the power of degree 2, all are carrying the power of degree 1, meaning that in this question what we need to do is to factorize. Okay, so there is a common factor that is common to both the numerator and the denominator here, so that they can cancel out, and the other factor will now be remaining. So for us to do that, in the first case, if you consider x squared minus 5x minus 14, now here we have a product that is going to be the product of the first and the last term, which is 14x squared, okay, and we have a sum that is going to be the second term, which is minus 5x. So our task here is to look for two particular numbers, of course a number with a variable, that we are going to multiply together to give us 14x squared. Oh, okay, this is minus 14x squared because of this negative sign. Okay, so that's where we need to just be careful, is minus 14x squared, not 14x squared. Okay, so we need two numbers that their product will be minus 14x squared, and the sum, if we add them together, will give us minus 5x. Now since we have minus 14x squared as the product, what are the numbers that we can multiply together to give us minus 14x squared? If we look at this, if we look at minus 7x and 2x, you can see minus 7 and 2 will give us minus 14. X times x will give us x squared. So that is quite good. Okay, and if we are to sum them, we are going to say minus 7x plus 2x. This will also give us minus 5x. So that's quite interesting. We have the one for that. Then alternatively, we are also going to look at x squared minus 9x. Now we have plus 14. Interestingly, again 14 is featuring here. The product in this case is going to be 14x squared, not minus 14, because look at this is the first term, x squared, this is the third term, 14. The product of the two is 14x squared. Okay, and then even when we have that, we have the sum to be here. In this case it is minus 9x. Now we need those two numbers, and of course looking at this 7 and 2, we can see that they are still quite important to us, because 7x multiplied by 2x, that's going to give us 7 times 2 is 14. Okay, x times x is x squared, so we have 14x squared as that sum. But now if we are to sum them, if we sum 7x and 2x, that will give us 9x. So that's not what we are looking for, meaning that we could use minus 7x and minus 2x, because the negative signs will multiply each other to give us a positive sign. So for the product, this is quite on point, and for the sum, we have minus 7x plus minus 2x, and that will be minus 7x minus 2x, because the minus and the plus will multiply to give us minus, and this will be minus 9x. So wow, this is quite interesting. So for our question that we have, we can just say in that case the numerator and the denominator, let me just try and write them out straight. So we have s squared minus 5x minus 14 over s squared minus 9x plus 14. This is now going to give us, I'm going to rewrite this, the middle term in which we have minus 5x here. I will just bring minus 7x and minus 2x. So I have s squared minus 7x, okay, plus 2x is plus 2x, then minus 14 as the numerator over the denominator will now be s squared minus, now again I'm going to use these two numbers that we know can replace the second term. Here we have minus 7x minus 2x, then the last term plus 14. Now we just need to simplify this. In the first case we have s squared and minus 7x. X is common to both of them. We have x minus 7 remaining, okay. Then in the second case we have plus 2, because 2 is common to both of them. We also have x minus 7 remaining divided by, here in this lower part, s squared and minus 7x. Again, x is common. We have x minus 7, and you can see where we are going. X minus 7 is going to be cutting themselves out because they are common to both. And then in this other case we have minus 2x plus 14. Now you need to take care so that you don't make mistake with this positive 14. Now this is what I'm going to do. Now if I factor out minus 2 out of that, here if we have taken out minus 2 from minus 2x, we have x remaining. But if you take minus 2 out of plus 14, we have minus 7 remaining. This is where student could have made mistake, okay. It's that this will not be plus 14 because minus 2 times minus 7 is plus 14, okay, and minus 2 times x is minus 2x. So with this consistency we can see that this amount to, at the numerator, x minus 7 is common. Here we have x minus 7, here we have x minus 7. We are left with x plus 2, okay. At the denominator, again, x minus 7 is common. We have x minus 7 here, we have x minus 7 here. So in the first case we have x remaining, and then in the second case we have minus 2 remaining. And of course, looking at this, x minus 7 is common to both, so you can cut out such that what is remaining is x plus 2 over x minus 2. And looking at the options, you can see option D here, that is x plus 2 over x minus 2. So this is the correct option. The key thing to note here is that looking at both expressions, they are having degree 2, they are to the power of 2 as the maximum power, but the options, they are only having degree 1. Is just an indication that the best thing for us to do is to factorize, and the common factor in the numerator and denominator, which in this case is x minus 7, can cancel out such that we can have our answer to be x plus 2 divided by x minus 2. All right. Which of these values would make 3p minus 1 over p squared minus p undefined? Now, when you see a question like this and they are asking that what will make the expression undefined, the expression will be undefined when the denominator is equal to 0. Okay, so whenever you come across this, note that it is when the denominator is equal to 0, that is when the expression, the equation, will be undefined, meaning that in this particular case the equation will be undefined when p squared minus p is equal to 0. And if we try to solve for the value of p that will make that to be 0, we can see here, we can just factor out p, and that will be p in p squared, we have p, then minus p in p, we have 1 is equal to 0. So this is giving us a two-case scenario. It's either p is equal to 0, or in the other case p minus 1 is equal to 0. So yeah, of course, this is consistent. It's either we have p is 0, or we are having it that p is equal to, when this minus 1 moves to the other side, it becomes 1. So any of these will make the expression undefined. And looking at the options that we have, you can see, even though we don't have 0, option A is telling us that we can consider 1, and that will be the correct answer in this case. Taking 1 will make this expression undefined, because then the denominator will be 0, and then if we divide any number by 0, that will be undefined at this level of our mathematics. Okay, so option A is the correct answer. The total surface area of a solid cylinder is 165 centimeters square. If the base diameter is 7 centimeters, we are to calculate its height. We need to note the parameters that we are given. And first, let's identify a solid cylinder. This is a solid cylinder, okay? And we are told that the total surface area of this solid cylinder, the total surface area is 165 centimeters square, meaning that the surface area of this circle at the top and this circle at the base and the hollow pipe, okay, the total surface area for those shapes is 165 centimeters square. Now we are told that the base diameter is 7 centimeters. What's the meaning of that? Diameter means the length from one side of the circle to the other side. This is 7 centimeters, and we need to note we're giving the diameter, not the radius. That's where students will tend to make mistake. Is the diameter, all right? So it is 7 centimeters. Then we have to calculate the height. The height will be from here to here, okay? So this is the height that we have to look for from this particular diagram. So now the first question is, what is the formula for the total surface area of a solid cylinder? Now the total surface area of a solid cylinder is giving us 2 pi r square plus 2 pi r h, okay? 2 pi r square for the two circular sides, okay, and then 2 pi r h for that hollow tube. And meaning that, look at this, we can actually factorize out. We can say, I mean, the total surface area is 2 pi r is common to the 2, and then here we have r remaining, because 2 pi r times r is 2 pi r square, then plus here on the right hand side we have h remaining, okay? So from there we can actually even make h the subject of the formula, so that we can plug in our values easily, because we can now say the total surface area over 2 pi r is equal to r plus h, so that our h will be the total surface area over 2 pi r minus r. When this r moves to the left hand side, it will become minus r. But from the question, we're not giving r, we're only giving the diameter. The diameter was giving us 7 centimeters, but we know that radius is diameter over 2, is half of the diameter. It's the distance from the center of the circle to any side on the circumference. That's the radius. We are given the diameter, which is a full length. So the radius will be 7 over 2, and 7 over 2 is 3.5 centimeters. So yes, since we now have all the parameters that we need to put to get the value of h, we have the total surface area, we have pi, we have r. We can now say, therefore, our h is equal to, the total surface area is 165, okay, over 2 pi r, that's 2 times 22 over 7 times r is 3.5, then minus 3.5. That's the essence of this formula, okay? That's what I just expressed there. And then if you are to solve this, we can just say this, to say 165 divided by, now look at this, we have 2 pi r. r is 3.5 times 2, that is 7, and I know this is 22 over 7 is pi, so I can just say it is divided by 7 pi, and to get pi I need to use sheet function and use this times 10 raised to the power x button. You can see pi is written in gray and shift activates all those things in gray, so you can see that 165 divided by 7 pi, and if I'm to press equal to, so this is 7.503, so this is the same as 7.503 minus 3.5. okay, now 7.5 minus 3.5 is, that will give me 4.003, but look at all the options that we have. We only have them in one decimal place, so we can say h is approximately equal to 4.0 centimeter. And if we are to look at the options that we are given, we can see that option C here is amounting to 4.0 centimeter. So the correct answer in this question is option C, that is 4.0 centimeter. You can see our understanding of the total surface area and the change of structure of formula can help to simplify this particular question. I don't need to be doing a whole lot of calculation because already I simplified it by making h the structure of the formula. You can also employ that so that you don't get to do a lot of mistake when you are solving your question. All right. Here in this question, we're told that if 2 raised to power a is equal to the square root of 64 and b over a is equal to 3, we should evaluate a square plus b square. Now, look at the first question, the first expression that we're given, that 2 raised to power a is equal to square root of 64. Now, this question, we can see that here we have 2 as a base, but square root of 64 we can also express as 2 raised to a particular power. So in that case, what we are going to have is, we have 2 raised to power a is equal to square root of 64 is 8. okay, so 2 raised to power a, 8 we also know is 2 raised to power 3. Now looking at these two numbers, these two expressions, the one on the left hand side and the one on the right hand side, we can see that the base, they are equal. 2 is the base of both cases, and since the base are equal, then definitely the power should be equal. So a will have to be 3 for these two expressions to be equal. Okay, so that's the first thing we need to note. But look at the second expression. We are told that b over a is equal to 3. If that's the case, then b will be 3a if you cross multiply. Now since we already know a to be 3, we can say b is equal to 3 multiplied by 3, meaning that b is equal to 9. But we are not asked to find the expression for a or b, we are asked to find a square plus b square. So in that case, we can say a square plus b square is nothing but 3 square plus 9 square. 3 raised to power 2, that is 9. 9 raised to power 2, that is 81. And the sum of the two will be 9 plus 81, and that will be 90. And looking at the options that we are given, you can see option C is 90. So the correct solution to this problem is option C, 90. All right. In this question, we are told that in triangle XYZ, that's the triangle in question, the line YZ is 32 centimeters, angle YXZ, you can see YXZ, so this angle here, okay, that is given as 52 degrees, and XZY is 90 degrees. So XZY is a right angle, that's here, that's the right angle. Okay, so we have to find correct to the nearest centimeter the line XZ, this line XZ. Now looking at this question is a beautiful question in trigonometry identity that we can use SOHCAHTOA to solve here, because if you identify this angle as 52, this particular line YZ that was given will be seen as the opposite to the angle that was given. Okay, and the side that we're asked to find, the side XZ, we can see this is the adjacent to that side. This longest side is the hypotenuse. Okay, and looking at this, so we have the opposite, we are looking for the adjacent, and we have the angle. the trigonometry identity SOHCAHTOA can be used to solve this easily. What are the parameters that we are trying to make use of here is the opposite and adjacent. And looking at the SOHCAHTOA expression, we can see tangent is relating opposite and adjacent, that tan theta is equal to the opposite over the adjacent. So if we just want to make use of that in this particular question, we can just say from here we know that our adjacent will now be the opposite over tan theta. Now what's the opposite in this particular case? That is the line YZ, okay, and tan theta will be tan 52 degrees. So that means our YZ is 32 centimeters. And what is tan 52? We need to check our calculator and ensure that the calculator is in the degree mode. You can see here is the degree mode. So we want to find tan 52. Okay, that's 1.2799. So this is 1.2799, and if you are to carry out that expression and say 32 divided by the answer we just got, so that is 25.00114. so 25.00114 centimeters. But look at all the options we were given. They were given in two significant figures. There's no decimal place there. And looking at all the options, we can see that our answer is actually approximately equal to 25 centimeters. So in this case, option B, 25 centimeter, is the correct option. We just need to make use of the trigonometry identity SOHCAHTOA, and our answer is out. Here in this question, we're told that if log to base x of 2 is equal to 0.3, so we have log to base x of 2 is equal to 0.3, we are to evaluate log to base x of 8. Now, it's just a simple application of the laws of logarithm that will help us to solve this, because we know that log to base x of 8 we can express as log to base x of 2 raised to power 3. Okay, and when we have log to base x of 2 raised to power 3, this is also expressible as 3 multiplied by log to base x of 2. Is the understanding of the laws of logarithm that will allow us to know that when we have a logarithm to a particular power, that power can actually be a multiplying factor of the logarithm of the number that we're actually looking for. So in this particular case, since we already know log to base x of 2, we know this will just be 3, but instead of log to base x of 2, we know that to be what? 0.3. That will be 3 times 0.3, and 3 multiplied by 0.0 is 0.9. So of the options we are given, option C, that is the option that is giving us the correct answer as 0.9. Isn't that quite simple? In this question, we are told that an arc subtends an angle of 72 degrees at the center of a circle. We are to find the length of the arc if the radius of the circle is 3.5 centimeters. We are given pi as 22/7 and the options to work with. Now, if we want to visualize the information that we're given in this question, it's just going to be like this. And what we have here is that this is the arc. The arc is, if I just call this point A and I call this point B, the distance from A to B along the circumference of the circle, as is being shown in red here, that is the arc in question. And we're told that it subtends an angle of 72 degrees. This is the meaning that if you trace from those starting and finishing points of the arc, it makes to the center of the circle, it makes an angle of 72 degrees. Okay, now we're told that the radius of the circle is 3.5 centimeters. So here radius is 3.5 centimeters. So we are asked to find the length of the arc. For us, that would be length of arc AB. That's what we are asked to find. And to find the length of an arc, the formula is given as theta over 360 multiplied by 2 pi r. Okay, and as simple as that gets, if we want to evaluate that, already we have our theta to be what? 72 degrees, okay, over 360 degrees, then multiply by 2 pi. 2 pi were given as 22 over 7, so this as 22 over 7, then multiply by the radius r, which is 3.5. We can just go ahead and cut everything that we can cut. 3.5 can go here 1, can go in 7 2. Okay, these 2 and these 2, they can cut out each other, so that what we have will be in 72 and 360. 72 can go here 1, 72 can go here, that is 5, because look at it, 360 multiplied by 2 is 720. Okay, so that means 72 and 720 would have been 1 over 10, but since 360 is half of 720, we have this as 1 over 5. So the length of the arc is 22 over 5, and if we want to evaluate that, we know that will give us 5 in 20, that is 4. Okay, point remaining 2 from 22, if you take 20 out and 5 in another, that 2 will bring another 0, so that will be 5 in 20 again, that will be another 4. Okay, so 4.4 centimeters is going to be the length of the arc that we're asked to find in this question. And look at option C, 4.4 centimeters. That is the solution to this question. Here in this question, we're asked to make B the subject of the relation LB is equal to 1 over 2 of A plus B multiplied by H. So we have LB is equal to 1 over 2 of A plus B all multiplied by H. And we want to make B the subject of the formula. First, let's just cross multiply, and in that case, these two will multiply the LB. So we have 2 LB is equal to, we can also open bracket directly. We are going to have AH plus BH. Now, to make B the subject of the formula, the ideal thing for us to do is to ensure that B is on one side of the equation. So I'm going to move all the expressions that involve B to the left hand side. Here we have B and here we have B. So let this BH move to the left hand side. Okay, so in that case we have 2LB minus BH is equal to AH. Now to isolate B, you can see that B is common to these two expressions. We can factor out the B. So if we bring out B, here B had been taken out, so we have 2L remaining, and here B had been taken out, so we have minus H remaining is equal to AH. And then just to eliminate all the expression beside B, we can divide both sides by 2L minus H. Okay, 2L minus H, and in that particular case you can now see that this and this, they are out, and then on the left hand side we have B alone, and on the right hand side we have AH over 2L minus H. This had been, you can see, is the correct expression of the relation, but now with B as the subject of the formula. And looking at the options that we have AH over 2L minus H. That is option A, and that is the correct answer to this particular question. All right. Eris sold his house through an agent who charged 8% commission on the selling price. If Eric received $117,760 after the sale, what was the selling price of the house? This is what we need to understand. Originally, let's take the price of the house. Let me just use this. I love explaining with this model. Let's use this model to explain that 100% of the money actually was received by the agent, okay, but the agent had taken out 8% of the money. Okay, so that means 100 minus 8% of the selling price is what Eric received, and that amounted to $117,760. Now, understanding this expression is key to solving this particular type of question. Okay, once you have a good grasp of this type of questions come out in aptitude tests a lot, and this is the best. This is one of the good ways that you can actually interpret that. Now, the full money is 100%, but now the agent are taking out 8% commission. He's not going to hand that over to Eric, so we can subtract that 8% from the full amount of the money. Okay, so it is 100 minus 8% of the selling price that were given as 117,760, which was handed over to Eric. Now the question was, we need to find the actual selling price of the house. So that means what we have is, look at this. This is 100 minus 8 is 92. Okay, so we can say 92 over 100 multiplied by the selling price is 117,760, and in that case the selling price will now be 117,760 multiplied by 100 over 92. I hope you get this expression, because when you say percentage, you're actually saying you are dividing, you are scaling it to 100, and that's why I just said 92 over 100. And if we were to take our calculator and evaluate this, we have 117,760 times 100 divided by 92. What's that? That's $128,000. So this selling price is nothing but $128,000. And if we look at the option, you can see good. Option B is there for us as the amount at which the house was originally sold. So the correct option is option B. Quite simple, quite easy, but understanding how to express the question will go a long way in helping you solve the type of questions. All right, we are to find the angle which an arc of length 22 centimeters subtends at the center of a circle of radius 15 centimeters. To understand this, let's bring in our circle and look at the information that we are given. We're told that the arc is of length 22 centimeters. So first we need to understand what is an arc. If we take this as position A and this as position B, this length across the circumference that's being shown in red, okay, that is an arc, and we're told that that arc is of length 22 centimeters. Okay, well, we're now told that the radius of the circle of which we are talking about, its arc, is 15 centimeters. So from the circumference of the circle to the center of the circle, that is the definition of the radius. So that was given as r to be what? 15 centimeters. And then we're asked to find the angle which this particular arc subtend at the center of the circle. So is this angle that we're looking at? We are looking for theta. Okay, now we cannot look at the outside angle because that's not the angle that this particular length of arc is obtaining. That is the another angle entirely. So is this internal angle that this arc AB is obtaining at the center of the circle of radius 15 centimeters. We can make use of the formula for the length of an arc. Okay, and that formula is saying that the length in this case of arc AB is theta over 360 multiplied by 2 by r. But we're not looking for the length, we're not looking for the radius, we are looking for theta. So we just need to make theta the subject of the formula, and in that case theta will be, we just cross multiply this 360 as the denominator, will multiply the length of the arc on the left hand side. So we have 360 multiplied by the length of the arc, then 2 pi r will become the denominator. So that's what you just need to express. We have 360 multiplied by the length of the arc is 22 centimeters. We are dividing by 2 multiplied by pi. Pi were given to be 22 over 7. Okay, and then the radius is 15. Okay, so if we are just to look at this, we can just decide to cut this. Let me just simplify this. This 7 as the denominator of a denominator will come up to be 360 times 22 times 7 over 2 times 22 times 15. So this 22 can cancel out. 2 multiplied by 15, that is 30, or let me just say, yes, that's 30. The product of the two is 30. 30 can go in 360. We will have that to be 12. Okay, this is 12 because let's say 30 times 12, 2 times 30 is 60, 1 times 30 is 30. You can see that's 360. So we're on track. All right, so yeah, that means what we have left is that our theta, the value of the theta that we are looking for is, that's just 12 times 7. And what's 12 times 7? 7 times 2, that's 14, remaining 1. 7 times 1, that's 7, plus that 1 remaining, that's 84. So the angle that we are concerned about is 84 degrees. That's option B. That is the correct answer for this question. A rectangular board has length 15 centimeters and width x centimeters. If its sides are doubled, find its new area. We need to be careful with this question, okay, because of the kind of information that are being supplied. So if we take this as the rectangular board and we have length 15 centimeter by x centimeter. Now this is the key thing. We're told that the sides are doubled. What's the implication of the sides being doubled? I want you to look at this plural word. We're told that it's the sides. So it's not just one side, just because they say the sides are doubled, meaning that initially it was like this, but then the sides were, let me just use another color. The side being double means that we have another one coming like this. Now this is one of its sides. What I just drew is one of its sides being doubled. Okay, so instead of 15 we now have another 15 centimeter, but this is not the sides. For the sides, we double it on that side, we also double it down. So this is the interpretation of what we're actually asked to get, that now we doubled the side for the 15 centimeter, we also double the side for the x centimeter. So we have, of course, this is another x centimeter, and then we can see that the new board is having length, is new length is now 15 in two places. That is 15 plus 15, and that is equal to 30 centimeters. Okay, and then the new width is also going to be x plus x, and that is 2x centimeters. Look at this. This is what it means to double the sides. We double 15, we get 30. We double x, we get 2x. Okay, but now what we're asked to find is the area. So the new area, since it's a rectangular board, that's quite easy. We know it is length times breadth, so it will be the new length multiplied by the new width. That will be 30 multiplied by 2x. Okay, and that multiplied by 2x is 60x, and then centimeters square, because we are multiplying centimeters in two places. So looking at the options, option A, this option here is 60x centimeters square, is the correct solution to this question. All right, in this question we're told that in the diagram, okay, POS and ROT are straight lines. So we need to identify that this POS, this line, okay, this line that I'm moving my cursor over, and then ROT, this line, are straight lines. Then OPQR is a parallelogram. OPQR is a parallelogram. We need to understand the features, the properties of a parallelogram. We'll come to that. Now we're told that line OS, this line OS, okay, is equal in length to line OT. So this OS and OT, they are equal in length. That's why we are seeing these double lines that were actually indicated on the two of them. Okay, and then we are told that angle OST is 50 degrees. This OST, this angle here, we are told it is 50 degrees. We have to calculate the value of angle OPQ. Let's try and identify that angle OPQ. So this is OPQ. So this angle that is highlighted in red, that's been shaded in red, is the angle of interest for the question that we need to find as appropriate. Okay, now let's start from what we're given. We're given that this angle OST is 50 degrees, but line OS and line OT, they are equal in length. If they are equal in length, you can see that OST, they make up a triangle, and two sides of that triangle, they are equal. That means it is an isosceles triangle. And for it to be an isosceles triangle, we also need to understand that the base angles of an isosceles triangles, they are equal. Now these two sides are equal, then these base angles, this angle shaded in blue that were not given, and this angle that were given as 50, they will be the same. So this here, you can say, is 50 degrees. And why? Because it is the base angle of an isosceles triangle. Okay, base angle of isosceles triangle. Okay, so that is the reason why we have that. But now look at triangle OST. This triangle OST, we already know two angles. We know this angle OST and we know angle STO. Both of them are 50-50. Okay, but we also understand that by reason of the sum of angles of a triangle, they should add up to 180 degrees, meaning that the two angles we know and this new one I'm shading in purple, okay, normally they will add up to 180 degrees. But we already know this to be 50 and this to be 50. That is 100. If we subtract 100 from 180, that will remain 80. So this angle here is 80 degrees. So this is 80 degrees, and we got that from the sum of angles of a triangle. I'm just writing this so that you can have a good grasp of the theorems and the reason why we are getting all these angles. Now we can now move on to this parallelogram that is on top, but look at the information we also supplied again. We're told that line POS, this straight line, and line ROT, they are straight lines. If they are straight lines, they are not inclined at angles to each other. That means they are actually crossing out each other. They are intercepting each other. And then if this angle is 80, then this other angle, this angle here, is also going to be 80 degrees. Why? Because it's vertically opposite to this particular 80 degree that we got from the base triangle that we are coming. So these are vertically opposite angles, and vertically opposite angles are equal. Okay, so understanding all these properties are actually proving useful in trying to solve this particular question for us. Now when we got this to be 80 and we are looking for this angle OPQ, I can call that theta. Now I can tell us that this angle ROP plus the angle we are looking for OPQ, both of them will also sum up to be 180 degrees. Okay, I love this type of questions. If I will just show it like this, look at this line, we're told that this is a parallelogram, and for a parallelogram it has its two sides to be parallel to each other. That's why we're having the word parallelogram, parallelogram. Okay, so this line arrow and line QP, they're actually parallel to each other. That's why you have this arrow. okay? And then line RQ and line OP, they're also parallel to each other. That's why you have this double line. You know, they are not straight lines like the ones this for the triangle here, which are showing that they are equal. We're not talking about equality here, we're talking about parallel, okay? So they are parallel, and for them to be parallel, this is actually the ideal thing. If you want to extend this line, if you say you want to extend this line, this angle is actually equal to this angle also, is also 80 degrees. Now you can see that these are actually corresponding in nature, okay? They are both facing the same side, they are being run through with the same line, and they have parallel lines running through them. And the intercept theorem actually explains to us that this, in that case, they are actually equal. So it's as if we are having angles on a straight line. So angle ROP, okay, and angle OPQ that we are looking for, they are supplementary, meaning that they add up to 180 degrees. So in that case, what we just need to get out now is that already we know ROP to be 80 degrees plus the OPQ that we are looking for is going to be 180 degrees. Then that means our angle OPQ is 180 minus 80, and that's going to give us 100 degrees. And if you look at the options that we have, you can see option A is 100 degrees, and that is the correct solution to this particular question. You can see our understanding triangles, intercept theorems, and the parallelogram has helped us to solve this question, and those are the tools that we need to be able to solve this type of questions. All right. In this question, we're told to factorize completely 2x plus 2y, all in bracket, multiplied by x minus y, okay, plus 2x minus 2y, also in bracket, multiplied by x plus y in bracket. Now we need to first look at this. If you are factorizing completely, we are supposed to collect like terms as much as possible and reduce it to the barest minimum. But looking at these two, the two expressions, this one here and this one here, we can see that there are no common terms to the two of them. So our best bet is first to open up the bracket. So we are having originally 2x plus 2y being used to multiply x minus y. Then we're adding 2x minus 2y multiplying x plus y. If we are to open the bracket, we will multiply term wise. So 2x multiplied by x, that will be 2x squared, okay. 2x multiplied by minus y will be minus 2xy. We have to take the negative sign into consideration. Then 2y multiplied by x, let me just keep the consistency of the order and write s first. That will be 2xy, okay. Then 2y multiplied by minus y, we have the negative sign because positive number multiplied by negative number is a negative number. Then 2y multiplied by y, that will be 2y squared. All right. Then we are adding that to, since this is a positive sign, we can just go ahead and look at the signs directly as to be opening the bracket. At the moment that is a negative sign, we need to first put everything in bracket, okay, so that the negative sign can affect every other thing. But since it's positive, we are good to go. So we have 2x multiplied by x, that will be 2x squared, and then 2x multiplied by y, that will be 2xy. Then minus 2y multiplied by x, that will be minus 2xy. Then minus 2y multiplied by y, that will be minus 2y squared. You can see how I was able to actually keep consistency with negative sign. That is where most of the times students do make mistake and put in a positive sign instead of the negative sign. So you should watch out for that. Now we can see a number of terms that are negating one another, like here minus 2xy and plus 2xy, that will be 0, okay. Here again we also have plus 2xy minus 2xy, that will also be 0. So we are left with, here we have 2x squared, then here minus 2y squared, okay. Here we have plus 2x squared, okay, and here we have minus 2y y square. You can see that our work is quite simplified for us. And now we have 2x square and 2x square in two places, so we can add those two. That will give us 4x square, then minus 2y square minus 2y square. That will give us minus 4y square. Now looking at this, we can see that 4 is common to both. Okay, so we have 4 into bracket x square minus y square. Now look at the options that we have. We don't have 4 into x square minus y square in any of the options, but there is a beautiful concept that is called the difference of two squares. The difference of two squares. And the difference of two squares will help us to solve this particular question, because it's stating that if we have x square minus y square, that is the same as x plus y multiplied by x minus y. Okay, if you want to test this hypothesis, you can say, let's look at 4 and 3. Whereas 4 raised to power 2 minus 3 raised to power 2. We know that this is nothing but 16 minus 9, because 4 raised to power 2 is 16, 3 raised to power 2 is 9, and 16 minus 9 is 7. But look at this. Alternatively, I could say this is nothing but 4 plus 3 multiplied by 4 minus 3. 4 plus 3 is 7. Okay, 4 minus 3 is 1, and that is also 7. So you can do this again and again. You just discover that in the difference of two square, x square minus y square is the same as x plus y in bracket multiplied by x minus y in bracket. So if you are to employ that, that means that our solution will now become this particular 4 that we have here. We have the 4. Then instead of x square minus y square, you can just say we have x plus y into bracket x minus y. And if you consider the options that we have, you can see option A is corresponding to that, 4 into x minus y and x plus y. We just reverted that our order, x plus y, x minus y. You could have said x minus y, x plus y, and option A is the correct answer to this particular question. Here in this question, we are told that the interior angles of a polygon are 3x degrees, 2x degrees, 4x degrees, 3x degrees again, and 6x degrees. We are to find the size of the smallest angle of the polygon. Now look at this. The smallest was emboldened for us to pay attention to that not just any angle. We are looking for the smallest angle of that polygon. Now, since all these values that we are given, we can see that they are not the same. So we are not talking about a regular polygon here. Okay, so if you want to visualize that polygon, it will look something like this. All right, and with that, we can say we want to label, maybe the least one should be 2x. Here, this is quite small, 2x degrees. Then we have 3x in two places. We can say this is 3x degrees. They are looking almost like the same. Then we have 4x and 6x. Okay, let's call this 4x degrees and 6x degrees. Now, this is just pictorial. It's not a rendition of the actual size of the polygon. Okay, so these are all the angles of the polygon, and we have to find the smallest angle. Now looking at this, which one will be the smallest angle? We can see that what we are looking for is this 2x degrees. That's the smallest angle of that polygon. But for us to be able to solve this, we can make use of the equation for the total number of interior angles of a polygon. Okay, so the sum of interior angles of a polygon we can use that formula to find this, and that is given as n minus 2 multiplied by 180 degrees, where n is the number of sides of the polygon. So here, if you just look, how many sides do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 sides of the polygon. In short, the number of sides corresponds to the number of angles. And from the question, we have been given 5 angles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that means the sum of the interior angles, which is the sum of these individual angles that we are given, is going to be, we are going to have 3x plus 3x, we have that in 2 places, plus 6x plus 4x plus 2x, okay, so that is going clockwise, that's the order, is equal to, what's the number of sides here? We have 5 minus 2 multiplied by 180 degrees. So you can sum this to actually get the value of what we are looking for. 3x plus 3x, that is 6x, plus 6x, that's 12x, plus 4x, that is 16x, plus 2x, so that is 18x, and that is equal to 5 minus 2 is 3, and we have multiplied by 180 degrees. To find the value of x, you can divide both sides by 18, okay, so here on the left hand side, this 18 will be used to divide this 18 and cancel out. Here 18 here can go in 1, okay, 18 in 180, that is 10, so we can say that x is 3 times 10, and that is 30 degrees, but we are not asked to find the value of x. So if you pick option D as 30, you are quite wrong. We are told to find the smallest angle of the polygon, and like I identified before, the smallest angle is 2x, so we can say smallest angle of this particular polygon is 2x, and that is 2 times 30, and 2 times 30 is what? Is 60 degrees. So the correct answer to this question is 60, and we can see option B, that is the correct answer. Don't make the mistake of picking D, that's quite wrong. Option B, 60, is the correct answer to this question. In this question, we're told that a box contains 2 white and 3 blue identical balls. Now, if 2 balls are picked at random from the box, one after the other, with replacement. Now, this is the key thing for us to actually note. We're told that they are with replacement. We need to really keep that in mind so that we get the question correct. Okay, what is the probability that they are of different colors? Now, if you want to visualize what we are being told there, it will look like this. Okay, so we have this particular box and we have 2 white balls. You can see these are the 2 white balls to the left, and then we have 3 blue balls, and all of them are identical in shape, identical in size. Okay, now when the balls are being picked at random, one after the other with replacement, this is what it means. If initially at the onset we are picking one of them, and in picking one of them we are just saying that there is no replacement, we just pick, let's say we just pick a blue ball. Okay, we just pick a blue ball. What will happen is that this is out of the equation. Okay, so you can see that doing that, I've reduced the remaining number of balls to 4 instead of 5, because we have 2 white and 3 balls initially. Now taking one out, we have only 2 blue balls remaining and not 3. But here we are not told that they are without replacement, they are with replacement. Once you take that out, you find the probability, you also return that particular ball. Okay, then you pick another one. Maybe now you are going to get to pick white. Okay, but you will make out of the selection of 5 total balls. That is key to trying to solve this question. So again, I want us to just note this. We are to note this, it is with replacement. This is the key to solving this particular question. So we are to find the probability that they are of different colors. Now, you just want to solve this. Let's take our statistics. We have number of white balls, that's 2. Okay, number of blue balls, that's 3. That means the total number is 2 plus 3, which is 5. Okay, now we are looking at a consideration in which if you pick 2 balls at random, one after the other, what is the probability that they are of different colors? Picking 2 balls, in the first case, this is what we are going to have. First case, when we pick one of the colors, then we can have 2 scenarios. Is either we are talking about the probability of, first we pick white, okay, and second blue. And in this particular case, since it is with replacement, what's the probability of picking white? That will be 2 over 5. Okay, 2 out of the total is 5, and then we replace it after picking it, so the total number of balls still remain 5, and then the second will be blue. That will be a multiplication to say now the number of blues is 3 out of a total of, again, it is 5. I didn't mean that it is without replacement. What we are going to have is we have 2 over 5 for the white. Then since the total number had been reduced because it is without replacement, then the second one will be 3 over 4. All right, so that's just what we need to take note in this particular question. And since we are now having this, we know this is going to be 6 over 25, because 2 times 3 is 6 and 5 times 5 is 25. Then in the second case again, these are the two case scenarios we need to consider. It's the probability that the first ball that is picked is blue and the second is white. Okay, and in that case, the probability of first blue will be 3 over 5. That's 3 blues out of a total of 5. Then multiplied by the probability of white. But since we have replaced again, the probability of white will be 2, which is the number of white balls, over the total, which is 5 again. Okay, and that will also amount to 6 over 25. So holistically, the probability that they are of different colors is just the combination of these two case scenarios, that the probability of picking two different colored balls is going to be either the first case or the second case. So this is the classical way of having it. Is either we have first, in the first case we have we pick white first, and then in the second case we pick blue, or we pick blue first and then white subsequently. Okay, so that probability is going to give us, look at this. In probability, when we have or, that means we're actually having addition. Okay, so that means we are going to have, for the first case, case 1, we have 6 over 25 plus the second case, again, that's also 6 over 25. And if we are to do this, that's the same base, 25, and we have 6 plus 6, and that will be 12 over 25. So looking at the option that we're given, you can see option D corresponds to that. It is 12 over 25. So what we just needed to take serious note of is the fact that we are being told that it is with replacement, and then we'll get our correct answer to be 12 over 25. In this question, we are to find the equation of a straight line passing through the point 1, minus 5 and having gradient of 3 over 4. And I would like to show a pictorial view of what this is going to look like. And here, if we say this is our Cartesian coordinate with 0 as the origin, this is the positive x-axis and this is the negative x-axis, because we are giving this 1, minus 5 is x, y. Okay, so that is just like we are having, this is the value of x in positive 1 and the value of y in negative 5. So if we try and locate that on the Cartesian coordinates, this is what we're actually going to have. We will have here x is 1, this is 1, okay, and then y is minus 5, this is minus 5. Their point of intersection, if you are to trace that, you can see coming here and coming here. So the point of intersection here, okay, that is the point of interest. That is the point 1, minus 5. But in the question, we are told that we have a gradient of 3 over 4. Now, what is the meaning of gradient of 3 over 4? Gradient is actually the change in the y-axis over the change in the x-axis. And that is why for the formula, we always say it is y minus y1, okay, over x minus x1, and that had been given to be 3 over 4. Meaning that if you have 3 units change in y, there is a corresponding 4 unit change in x. That's why we have change in y is 3, change in x is 4. So if you look at our diagram and want to put that into the pictorial form, you can look at the y-axis and say, okay, on this y-axis we have a 3 unit change. Initially we're on minus 5. If we are looking at 3 unit change and moving towards the positive axis, we say we have 1, 2, 3. So here, minus 2 corresponds to a 3 unit change. If we are looking at x on the x-axis, we have a 4-unit change corresponding to that 3-unit change in y. So here, starting from 1, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, meaning that -2 and 5, okay, that is going to be another point that corresponds to this particular equation in which we are having a positive 3 as the unit change in y and the corresponding positive 4 as the unit change in x. That's why I move towards the positive direction in both the y-axis and the x-axis. And to get the equation of the line, we just need to join these 2 points that we have, and I can just do that like this, okay, and then I can also trace back down. So this is actually the straight line whose equation we are asked to find. Now this is how we go about it if you want to actually solve for that particular equation. We are saying that y minus y1, x minus x1. What is y1? What is x1? That is corresponding to 1, minus 5 that we are given. So we have 1, minus 5. That one is x1, okay, that y minus 5 is y1, and 1 is x1. If you are to substitute that into this equation that we have, so we are going to have y minus, what's the value of y1? That is minus 5. Students, don't make the mistake of saying that is 5. You'll get the question wrong, okay. Then x minus, what's the value of x1? That is 1, and that is equal to 3/4. This is going to give us nothing but minus multiplied by minus will give us plus. So we have y plus 5, okay, over x minus 1 is equal to 3/4. And having an equation like this, we can just do well to cross multiply, and if we cross multiply, we are going to have 4 multiplying the whole of y plus 5, then is equal to 3 multiplying the whole of x minus 1. So if you expand this bracket, this will just be 4 times y, that will give us 4y. Then 4 times 5, that will be 20, is equal to 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times minus 1 is minus 3. Looking at the format of the options that we are given, everything is on the left hand side, so we can move everything to the left hand side. You know, we are going to have 4y, okay, plus 20 minus 3x plus 3, that's going to give us 0. If we simplify this and we choose to write x first, we can say this will give us something like this. This can now continue here to say it will be minus 3x, okay, plus 4y, then 20 plus 3, that will be plus 23 is equal to 0. And now looking at our options, you can see that of all the options, we don't even have anything that is starting with negative 3x, but we have something that is looking like this equation in option D, but only a reversal of sign, meaning that all of these we can multiply by minus 1. And if you multiply an equation by minus 1 and you do it to the right hand side and the left hand side, it's still consistent with what you are trying to work out. So if you do that and you multiply each of these entry with minus 1, minus 1 times minus 3x will become 3x, okay. Minus 1 times 4y will become minus 4y. Minus 1 times 23 will become minus 23. And of course, 0 times minus 1 is 0. So this is the equation of the straight line that we're asked to find. And here we can just write it as 3x minus 4y minus 23 is equal to 0. This is the way to go about solving for the equation of a straight line. And I use this pictorial explanation to also explain, because I believe a picture is worth 1,000 words, and to enhance our understanding of questions like this. So the correct answer of all the options we are given is option D, 3x minus 4y minus 23 is equal to 0. All right. The foot of a ladder is 6 meters from the base of an electric pole, and the top of the ladder rests against the pole at a point 8 meters above the ground. how long is the ladder. We have to find the length of the ladder given all these parameters, that the foot of the ladder is 6 meters on the base of an electric pole and the top of the ladder is resting against the pole at a point 8 meters above the ground. Let's have a pictorial view of what we are talking about here, and it is just as seen here. And if we want to put in our parameters as we are being told, we just need to note that first, what we are being told is that the foot of a ladder is 6 meters from the base of an electric pole. So this is the base of the electric pole. If you call this point the base B of the electric pole, and then the foot of the ladder, if you call that point C, okay, you can see that we are told that it is 6 meters. So BC, this is 6 meters, all right. Then the top of the ladder rests against the pole at a point 8 meters above the ground. So if B is the foot of the pole, the point, okay, where the ladder is resting is 8 meters above the ground. So here, if you call that AB, okay, AB here is, it was given as 8 meters. What we are asked to find is the length of the ladder. We are told how long is the ladder. So we have to find the length of this ladder, that's AC, and let's say that is going to be X. By reason of the constitution of this diagram, we can see that since the pole is going to be standing upright, this is forming a right angle triangle at this particular junction. Okay, so this is a right angle triangle 90 degree, and ideally this is the diagram that we're having something like this. Just pictorially look at what we have. Is nothing but this, and what we are having here is just a beautiful, a clean case of a right angle triangle in which this is 8, this is 6, and this is X. You can label it as A, B, and C. Okay, so since it is right angled, if we are to take this as the angle we want to consider, we can see that this 8 here is corresponding to the opposite of that angle. 6 is corresponding to the adjacent of the angle of the triangle, and this X is the hypotenuse for the triangle. And if we are to make use of the Pythagoras theorem, that is going to help us to solve this easily. The Pythagoras theorem is going to help us a lot, because by the Pythagoras theorem we know that the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the square of the opposite plus the square of the adjacent. Okay, so if we put in those values, now hypotenuse is what we are looking for, that is S square, that is equal to the opposite is 8 raised to power 2 plus the adjacent, that is 6 raised to power 2, meaning that S square is equal to 8 raised to power 2 is 64, 6 raised to power 2 is 36, 64 plus 36 is 100. So S square is 100, and in that case X will be the square root of 100, and the square root of 100 is nothing but 10 meters. So for this particular question, the length of the ladder, how long the ladder is 10 meters, and we can see in option C here 10 meters is the option in C, and that is the correct answer. You can see how the understanding of how to represent our information correctly on the diagram can help us to solve questions like this, and it's beautiful. All right, if tan x is equal to 3/4 and 0 is less than x while x is less than 90 degrees, we are to evaluate cos x over 2 sin x. Let's note a few things from this question. Since we are talking about tan, cos, and sine, that means we are talking about a right angled triangle, and in the case of a right angled triangle, we can depict the diagram like this. Say we have this is the triangle that we're trying to work with. Okay, so since we are told it is tan x, if we take one of the angles, let's say here, and we take that to be x, okay, we know by reason of the definition of tan, because actually if we are talking about SOHCAHTOA, if we are talking about SOHCAHTOA, tan is opposite over adjacent. So we can say in this case, since we are talking about x, tan x is opposite over the adjacent. And look at the parameters that we're given. We're told that tan x is 3 over 4. So here it is 3 over 4, meaning that the opposite side facing the angle x is 3. So here you can say this is 3, and then the adjacent is 4. We are left with the hypotenuse. We can call that, let me call that A, okay? Because if you want to evaluate cos, we need to use the hypotenuse. You can see cos is adjacent over hypotenuse. Sine, we also need hypotenuse is its opposite over hypotenuse. So first, we need to find the value of A, and we can find the value of A by making use of the Pythagoras theorem. So Pythagoras theorem warrants that the Pythagoras theorem if you are to use that, here is saying that the square of the hypotenuse, that is a raised to power 2, is the sum of the square of the opposite, which is 3, plus the square of the adjacent, which is 4. Okay, so in this particular case, we can just see that we have a square will be 3 raised to power 2 is 9, 4 raised to power 2 is 16. 9 plus 16 is 25, such that a will be the square root of 25. So a is equal to 5. So we also have a to be equal to 5. Here a is 5, and then we can go ahead to try and evaluate cos x over 2 sin x. But first, since we have that, what's going to be cos x? Cos x from the trigonometry identity, cos is adjacent over hypotenuse, so we can add this as adjacent over hypotenuse, and that adjacent over hypotenuse is, what's the adjacent? The adjacent is 4. Let me just even label that out. This is the adjacent, that is 4. This is the opposite here, and this is the hypotenuse, that is 5. Okay, so the adjacent over the hypotenuse will now be, adjacent is 4 and hypotenuse is 5. Okay, then the sine x from this identity is opposite over hypotenuse. What's the opposite? It is 3, so that is opposite over hypotenuse, and that's going to give us 3. And what's the hypotenuse? That we have found to be 5. So easily we can now say we want to evaluate cos x. Let me just rule it for the sake of clarity. Okay, so now we want to evaluate cos x over 2 sin x. Cos x over 2 sin x will be, what's our cos x? We have that is 4 over 5, okay, divided by 2 sin x, 2 multiplied by sin x. Sin x is 3 over 5. Okay, so if you just want to express this easily, you can say this is 4 over 5 divided by 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, 6 over 5. So that if we want to do that well, we can just invert the division to say this is multiplication, then 5 will come up and 6 will come down. And if you want to cut out, you can say 5 can cancel 5, 2 can go in 4, 2 can go in 6, 3, such that our solution to this question is 2 over 3. And looking at the options that we have, we can see option D is corresponding to 2 over 3, and that is the answer to this particular question. We have made use of the trigonometry identity, SOHCAHTOA, and Pythagoras theorem to solve this question, and that is the proper way to go about it. All right. From the top of a vertical cliff 20 meters high, a boat at sea can be sighted 75 meters away and on the same horizontal position as the foot of the cliff. We need to understand that for us to be able to interpret this question very well, we have to calculate, correct to the nearest degree, the angle of depression of the boat from the top of the cliff. So let's look at a pictorial view of what we are talking about here, and this is just a very good representation of, this is a cliff, this is a ship that is at sea. Now we are told that from the top of a vertical cliff, which is 20 meters here, meaning that the cliff, this is the top of the cliff, okay, and the cliff is 20 meters high, then the distance from here down to the ground level here, okay, here we're told is what is 20 meters. All right, then a boat at sea can be sighted 75 meters away and on the same horizontal position as the foot of the cliff. Now that's where we really need to take note of this information. We're told that it is 75 meters away on the same horizontal position as the foot of the cliff. So if we are looking at this as a base, that's the foot of the cliff, we are now told that the ship is 75 meters away, meaning from here to the ship, just like this, this is what? This is 75 meters, okay? Then we have to calculate, correct to the nearest degree, the angle of depression of the boat from, look at that word, from the top of the cliff. And when we are saying from the top of the cliff, I want us to just know from the top of the cliff means that ideally, if anybody is looking from this cliff, if this is an high, the person will originally look straight, okay? But now we're asked to find the angle of depression. The angle of depression will be something coming from that top of the cliff to the sighting of the ship, okay? And that will be this angle here, is the angle that the eye make with the horizontal before declining downwards to check on the ship. So this angle is what we are looking for, angle theta, okay? And by reason of the constitution of this diagram, this horizontal view, this line, this horizontal line, imaginary line that was drawn, and the horizontal ground level, they form two parallel lines. So I can say this line and this line here, they form two parallel lines, okay? So, and because they form two parallel lines, then the angle here, this angle here, is also going to be theta. Why? Because this angle and this angle, they are alternate angles. So already I can see that I'm having a triangle that is coming out in which the angle of interest is this theta. That's what we have to find. Actually, we have to find the angle of depression, but this theta here is also this theta that is from the base of the ship to the cliff, okay? So that's the theta. But we now see that we can identify for this particular angle, this is the opposite to the angle, and this here, the 75 meters, is the adjacent to the angle. If you want to employ the trigonometry identity SOHCAHTOA, if you are to employ SOHCAHTOA to try and solve for the angle theta, we can see that we have the opposite and we have the adjacent. And what is relating the opposite and the adjacent? It is the tangent. So we can say for this particular question, we can say that tan theta is equal to the opposite over the adjacent. And for our particular question, the opposite is 20 and the adjacent is 75, such that tan theta is equal to 20 divided by 75. If we bring in our calculator, 20 divided by 75, that is 4/15, or if you want to put it in decimal place, 0.26. This particular line that is put on top of 6 means it is a repeated 6, so we can have this as 0.2667, okay? That's the approximation. And with that, the angle theta will be arctan of 0.2667, okay? And if you are to just say we want to find arctan of the answer that we just got, this is 14.93. that is 14.93. but look at the question. I said we have to find it correct to the nearest degree. 14.93 correct to the nearest degree will be 15, because in that case what we have is that we just take 9 and round it up to 1 and add down 1 to 14, so that the answer, so that our theta will be approximately equal to 15 degrees. And if you look at the option, you can see option D is the correct option. Just knowing how to interpret this question correctly has seriously helped us to use the trigonometry identity for the right angle triangle, this right angle triangle, to say we can use our SOHCAHTOA, and then we can use a tangent that is defined as opposite of adjacent to find the value of the angle theta that we need to use. Also making use of the alternate angles, that the horizontal line formed by the angle of view of the eye and the horizontal ground make two parallel lines in which these angles they constitute alternate angles. So all this helped us to solve this question, and it is as good as done. So option D is the correct answer. In the diagram, this diagram that we are given, O is the center of the circle of radius 18 centimeters. You can see this radius 18 centimeters, and O is the center of the circle. If angle ZXY, this angle is 70 degrees, we have to calculate the length of arc ZY. Now, I think one of the things that sometimes confuse students is, are they asking for this particular arc or this bigger arc, this major arc? Now, I don't mean that they are talking about this major arc. They wouldn't have called it ZY. They would have said ZXY. So this is the arc that they're asking us to calculate, and we have to take pi as 22/7. So the formula for the length of an arc, the length of arc, in this case ZY, is equal to theta over 360 multiplied by 2 pi r. And the question is, what is our theta? The theta is the angle that the arc subtends at the center of the circle. That is the angle that it makes with the radius at the center of the circle, and in this case it's going to be this angle, but this angle that is being shown in red. But of course we are not giving that angle, but we are giving this angle 70. So if we have angle 70 and we are looking for this, how do we get that? This angle, by reason of the circle theorems, will be twice the angle at the circumference, because this is the same arc and it subtends this angle at the circumference, and this particular angle is at the center of the circle, and the theorem says that the angle subtended by an arc at center of circle is twice angle subtended at the circumference, angle subtended at the circumference of the circle. So that particular theorem from circle theorems will help us to determine that this will be 140 degrees, because it is 2 times 70. So if we are making use of that particular theorem, we can now say the length of the arc ZY is equal to 140 over 360 multiplied by 2 multiplied by pi were given as 22/7, and multiplied by the radius was given as 18. So what is left for us is just to divide here, and let's say here we can see that this 0 can cancel out, this 7 and 14, that is 2. Okay, this 18 can go here 1, 18 can go in 36, that is 2, because 2 times 18 is 36. So these 2 and these 2 can also cancel. So the length of the arc ZY is going to be just 2 times 22, and that is 44 centimeters. And look at this, look at option C. Option C is 44 centimeters, and that is the right option. What really helped us to be able to solve this question is to understand the circle theorem that angle subtended by an arc, in this case arc ZY, at the center of the circle is twice the angle subtended by the same arc at the circumference. So this is the circumference at X, this is the center at O. The angle at X, the circumference is 70. Definitely the angle at the center of the circle will be 2 times 70, which is 140, and we can just use that in the formula for the length of an arc, and we'll get our answer as 44 centimeters. All right, in the diagram, RT, this line RT, is a tangent to the circle at R. Okay, then angle PQR, angle PQR is 70 degrees. So maybe you can just label that. So here PQR here that's 70. Okay, then angle QRT, that is 52 degrees. So let's get that QRT. So this angle, okay, from this chord to this tangent, that was given as 52 degrees. Then angle QSR is Y. QSR, this angle here, that is Y. And then angle PRQ, angle PRQ, yeah, that is X. Okay, we are to use the diagram to answer questions 40 and 41. Now, before we go ahead to look at the questions, I want to solicit that if you are having problems with circle theorems, there is a video that was done to explain all the circuit theorems, so that questions like this you can be able to attempt them easily on the breeze, because the fundamentals of the circle theorems are well explained, they are well articulated in that particular video, and you can see the link is being flashed on top of this video. You can also check the description for this video for you to have a link where you can check that particular video. It will help you to understand circle theorems a lot, and we're going to be using those theorems to solve this particular question. So in the first question, we're asked to find the value of y. Now, how do we go about finding the value of this y? Now, I will just say this, that y is equal to 52 degrees. This angle QRT is also equal to angle y. Why am I saying that? It's because the angle between a tangent and a chord of a circle is equal to angle in the alternate segment. This is one of the theorems that just understanding it is what is going to help you to be able to solve this particular question. So there is no calculation, you just know that angle QRT, this is the chord, QR is a chord, okay, RT is a tangent. The angle between them, 52 degrees, is also equal to the angle in the alternate segment. You can see, looking at the options, you can pick for question number 40 here. 52 is the correct answer. Okay, now moving on, we have to calculate the value of x, and here we can see that this is our x. Let me write that in blue. Okay, this is x in blue. How do we go about finding the value of x? Now I can see that this PRQ, they constitute a triangle. So I know angle PQR to be 70 already. If I'm able to find this particular angle, I can actually sum the three angles and equate them to 180 degrees, because the sum of angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. Then that will help me to find the value of x. But what is the value of this angle? This angle is also equal to y. Okay, and being y means that it is also 52 degrees. Why? Because these two angles are angles that are subtended by the arc of a circle. Look at this, RQ. Here we have the angle moving from R to S to Q. So this RSQ. Look at this other one. This is RPQ. Both of them are angles that are subtended by the same arc RQ. So by reason of the circle theorems, any angle, any set of angles like that, they are equal. So this is also 52. So I can just append it as here. We say this is 52. Okay, so this is 52. Then by reason of the sum of angles of triangle, I can say 52 degrees, the one here, plus 70 degrees, this one here, plus x, they add up to 180 degrees, because they are sum of angles of a triangle. Okay, and the sum of angles of triangle add up to 180 degrees, so that you can say 52 plus 70 is 122, plus x is 180, so that x will be 180 minus 122. 180 minus 122 will be 10 minus 2, that is 8, which remains 7. 7 minus 2, that is 5, and 1 minus 1 is 0. So x is 58 degrees. And looking at the options, you can see option B is 58. If you really want to get a good grasp, further discussion, further explanation on this, just check out that video. Is in the description of this video, and you will be able to actually have a good grasp, a good understanding of circle theorems and how to apply them, how to make use of them in solving questions. So this is the solution to these two questions from this particular past question. All right, in this question we're asked to calculate the variance of 2, 4, 7, 8 and 9. So we have this set of values, and the variance is what we are being asked to find. Now there is a formula for variance that we can use to solve this type of question, and it is given as the sum of the square of the data entry divided by the number of the entry minus the square of the average value. So the average value is the sum of the data entry over the number of entries, so we are going to square that. So this is the formula that we ideally use to calculate the variance of a set of values. Particularly here, you can see they are just on group data. We can use that formula to solve for it, meaning that we need to find the sum of the data entry and the sum of the square. So in that case, what we just need to do is to just do a small table. We have x, we also need s square, okay, and then we can try and look at a means of getting all of those. In the first case, we have 2 as the first entry, we have 4, we have 7, we have 8, and we have 9. Okay, we are going to be summing them, so we'll be looking at the summation of this value down here. But then when x is 2, x raised to the power 2 is 4, that's the square of 2. The square of 4 is 16. The square of 7, that is 49. The square of 8, that is 64. And the square of 9, that is 81. So we need to add all of these so that we'll be able to get the sum of s square. That's what the addition of all these right hand column is going to give us, and here we are going to get the sum of the data entry, that's summation x. So we have to look at our data entry. 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 plus 7, that is 13. 13 plus 8, that is 21. 21 plus 9, that is 30. So sum of the data entry, summation x, is 30. Then the sum of s square, I think we'll do it to just use a calculator here. Okay, 4, 16, 49, 64, and 81. So we have 4 plus 16 plus 49 plus 64 plus 81. Okay, I'm just using my eyes to calculate all of this directly. So if I just put in that, that's 214. Okay, so now if you want to use this data that we obtain here, the summation x as 30 and summation s square as 214, if you want to use it in this particular formula, we'll see here summation s square will be 214. Our n is the number of entries, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 total data. So we have n to be 5, okay, minus the average. The average here will be 30 summation x, which we have already gotten here. That will be 30 over the number of values, that is 5, then that raised to power 2. So yeah, this is just going to give us 214 over 5 minus 30 over 5 is 6. 6 raised to power 2, that is 36. So we just need to find this, and our calculator will help us. So 214 divided by 5, that is equal to, let's express that in decimal, 42.8. okay, so we have this is 42.8 minus 36, and 42.8 minus 36, we have to calculate that, that is 6.8. so 6.8 is the variance for this particular set of values, and we can see from the options that option B is giving us 6.8. That is the correct solution to this question. In this question, we are told that the fourth term of an arithmetic progression, that is an AP, is 37, and the first term is minus 20. Okay, we are to find the common difference of that particular arithmetic progression. Now, as a general rule of thumb, there is a formula for the nth term of an arithmetic progression, and it's given as the nth term Tn is equal to a plus n minus 1d, where a, let me just say, this is the nth term. The nth term, a is the first term, okay, n is the term, the particular term, and then d is the common difference. Okay, so if we have an understanding of this formula, we can look at the information that we are given. For example, we are given that the fourth term T4 was given as 37. Okay, then we are told that the first term A is what? Is minus 20. Since we are talking about the fourth term, that means n is equal to 4, and we are asked to find the common difference d. D is an unknown in this particular case. Since we have all this information, we can plug them in for the fourth term so that we can find the value of d. Okay, so in that case, what we are going to have is T4, which is the value of what we are given, will amount to 37 is equal to a is minus 20, okay, plus n minus 1 will be 4 minus 1 multiplied by the common difference. So if this minus 20 moves to the left hand side, we can have 37 plus 20, okay, is equal to 4 minus 1 is 3, is equal to 3d. So that means 3d is equal to 37 plus 20 is 57, and for us to find the value of d, we can divide both sides by 3. If we do that, this 3 will cancel this 3, and then 3 can go here 1, 3 in 57, 3 in 5 is 1, remaining 2, 3 in 27, that is 9. So therefore, the value of the common difference d is 19. And if you look at our options, let's glance through the options we are given. We can see option C is 19, which is the correct solution to this particular question. All right. In the diagram that we are given here, in this diagram, we are told that the line PQ, this line PQ, is parallel to line RS, to this line RS. You can see that's why we have this arrow that are indicated on each of the two lines. That shows that they are parallel. Okay, then we are told that angle QFG, this is QFG, this angle is 105 degrees, and angle FEG, this angle FEG, this angle here is equal to 50 degrees. So we have to use the diagram to answer the questions 44 and 45 from this particular past question. And first, we have to find the value of m. So this is m here, this is m, which we are first asked to find. And how do we go about finding the value of this m? There are so many ways that we can go about this based on our understanding of this particular intercept theorems and parallel lines, and even triangles. Because, for example, look at this. Now this is an exterior angle of a triangle, so ideally you can just say this exterior angle is equal to the sum of the two opposite interior angles. So 105 is equal to 50 plus m, and we can get the value of m like that. Alternatively, we can say on this line PQ, this angle is actually on a straight line with angle 105. So since they're on a straight line, if I call that, let me call that x, I can say x plus 105 is actually 180. Why? Because they are angles on a straight line. So x will be 180 minus 105, and that will be 75. Okay, so x is 75 degrees. I can reflect that here, that this is actually nothing but 75 degrees. But then looking at this triangle, 50 plus 75 plus m, they will also be 180, because that is the sum of angles of a triangle. Okay, so I can say 50 plus 75 plus m, that also amounts to 180 degrees. They are the sum of angles of the triangle EFG, such that m will be 180 minus the sum of these two. 50 plus 75 is 125. Okay, so m in that case will be nothing but 180 minus 125. That will be 55 degrees. It's just the same as saying that we are having this exterior angle 105 is equal to the sum of these two interior angles, so that m will now be 105 minus 50, and of course 105 minus 50 is also 55 degrees. So those are just some two ways to go about doing it. So for the first question, the value of m we have obtained to be 55. Option B is the correct answer for that. Now we also have to find the value of n. Look at n here at the base. Also in red, maybe I should use blue ink for that. Here, this angle n, you can also choose to use whatever is suitable for you, but for me, look at what I'm going to do. This 50 here and this angle here, they are alternate angles, so they are equal. You can check out our videos on intercept, theorems, and parallel lines to help you gain good understanding of all these things. But here they are forming like Z. Okay, this, if you just follow the movement of my pointer here, okay, is like Z, and those are alternate angles. So this is 50. Then if that's the case, you can say that m, 50 and n, they are angles on a straight line, and they also add up to 180 degrees, because that's one of the fundamental rules that we know about a straight line. The sum of angles on a straight line is 180 degrees. So in that case, we can also say, yes, we know 50 plus m plus n is 180 degrees. Already we know m to be 55. So we can say that means that 50 plus m will go to be 55 plus n is 180 degrees. 50 plus 55, that is 105. So n will be 180 degrees minus 105 degrees. Okay, so if I were to find that 180 minus 105, that is 75 degrees. And looking at the options that we have, we can see option C is 75 degrees, and that is the solution to this particular problem. Okay, a box contains 5 red, 6 green, and 7 yellow pencils of the same size. What is the probability of picking a green pencil at random? Looking at this particular question, we are going to evaluate probability in the case in which we can look at that probability as the number of the sample of interest over the total number of entities. Okay, so now for this particular case, you can see we are interested in the green pencils. So how many green pencils do we have there? The number of green pencils that we have there is, we are told, 6 green pencils. So that is 6. But then what's the total number of pencils that we are concerned about? We need to add all the numbers of each colors of the pencil. So we have 5 red plus 6 green plus 7 yellow, and that's going to be 5 plus 6, that is 11. 11 plus 7, that is 18. So in that case, the probability of picking a green pencil is going to give us the number of green pencils, that is 6, over the total number of pencils, that is 18. So we can just divide this. We can see that 6 can go in 18 to give us 3, such that that probability that we are looking for is 1 over 3. And if we look at the options, we can see option C is corresponding to that. 1 over 3 is the correct answer to this question. In this question, we are told that this pie chart represents fruits on display in a grocery shop. If there are 60 oranges that are on display, how many apples are there? And looking at the section of the orange, we are seeing that we are not given the angles that correspond to the section for the orange, but we can find that. Why? Because we know that the sum of angles at the point is 360 degrees. So having that understanding, we know that sum of angles at a point is 360 degrees, and here already we can see that we have 160 and 120. So if we are to add everything, and let's say we call the one for orange, let's say we call it x, okay, if we are to add everything, we can say 100 plus 60 plus 120 plus x is equal to 360 degrees. Okay, so 100 plus 60, that's 160. 160 plus 120, that is 280, so that x will be 360 degrees minus, when that 280 moves to the right hand side, we have minus 280 degrees, and that will be 80 degrees. So x here is 80 degrees. So I can just say I want to put that here. So what we have here is 80 degrees. Now, nobody asks us to find the angle that corresponds to orange. We are asked to find the number of apples that are displayed there. Now, this is what I would love to really do. Now, I can say that we have the number of oranges to be 60. 60 oranges corresponds to 80 degrees. Okay, but now we know the angle for the apple to be 120 degree, but we don't know the number of apples. So let me call that y apples corresponds to 120 degrees. This is just a simple matter of cross multiplying here. Okay, so I have 80y is equal to 60 times 120, and with that I can just say that means my y is equal to 60 times 120 divided by 80. Okay, so here I can say 0 here, can cut 0 here, 2 can go in 6, that's 3, 2 can go in 8, that is 4, 4 can go here, 1, 4 in 120, that will be 30. So I have my y to be, in that case, I have y to be 3 multiplied by 30. So that will be 90 apples. Okay, 90 apples are there on the grocery shop. So option A here, which is 90, is the correct answer. The understanding of the allocation of angles on a pie chart and the relating of the orange to the apple had helped us to solve this question, and we can face that in subsequent questions that will come across. 90 is the answer in this question. All right. The following are scores obtained by some students in a test, and we have those scores that are given as shown. We are to use this information to answer questions 48 to 50 as highlighted on the board here. All right. So this is what we need to do. In the first case, we have to find the mode of distribution. When we talk about the mode, we need to look at the most recurring entry of all the data entries that we have. Okay, the one with the highest frequency. And now if we look at this, just have a glance through, we can see that here we have 8, okay, that's 8 in 2 places. All right, but 8 is not even in the option. Okay, 8 is in the option that we are giving. We have 18 also in 2 places. Okay, is there any other 18? So definitely 8 and 18 cannot be the answer because they are only occurring twice. Okay, let's look at 14. We have 14 1, 14 2. 14 also cannot be the answer. 8 cannot be the answer. 18 cannot be the answer. But look at 13. We have 13 in 1, 2, 3 places. So definitely 13 is the correct answer to this particular question. So the mode for this particular set of scores that we're having is nothing but 13. So the correct answer in that particular case is 13. C. That is the mode for the scores that are obtained by the student. Now, for us to find the median score, to find the median score, this is what will be good for us to do. Let's arrange the data entry in increasing order. Okay, so let's arrange in ascending order. Okay, so we list them from the lowest to the greatest score. So here the lowest is 8, and we have 8 in two places, so we have 8, 8. Okay, do we have any 9? There's no 9. Do we have 10? We have 10, but only in one place, so we have 10. Do we have 11? Yes, we have 11, only in one place also. Okay, a singular entry. Do we have 12? Let's look. There's no 12. We have 13 in 3 places, this first one, this second one, and this third one. So we have 13, 13, and 13. All right, so do we have 14? Yes, we do. 14 in 2 places, this 14 and this 14. Okay, do we have 15? Yes, this is a singular 15 that we have here. Okay, 16, we have a singular entry for 16. If you look, a singular entry for 17, and a singular entry for, okay, double entries for 18. So 18, 18. Now, just to confirm that we're on the right track, we need to confirm with the total data entries that we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So this should also amount to 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we're on the right track. I didn't make any mistake. But then to find the median, since now this is a set of values that their total entries, the total number of them is even. So if we are to find the median, we need to break it into 2. Let's first consider the first. We want to divide this into 2. So we take, since it's 14, we can take 7, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here, this is 1/2, and here, this is the other half. And you can see we have 2 different numbers, 2 different scores that are featuring. Here we have 13, and here we have 14. The median in that case will be the average of the 2. All right, so for that case, we just say the median is equal to 1/2 of 13 plus 14, and that will be 13.5. So looking at those options, C, 13.5 is the correct answer for the median score. Had it been that the total number of entries is odd, maybe we have like 13, then we can know that, of course, if we take 6 to the left, 6 to the right, the one in the middle will be a single point entry, and that will be the median. But for this, when the total number of entries is even, this is how we go about it. We take the 2 middle numbers and find the average. So 13.5 is the correct answer in this particular case. All right, and then we can now look at the last question, and we are told that we are to find the number of students that scored above the mean score. Okay, so that means that first we need to find the mean score, and the mean score, that's the average. Okay, so if you want to evaluate that, you can say the mean score, the average, is going to be the sum of all the entries over the number of entries. That means that we need to add all of them together. Okay, so we have 8 plus 18 plus 10 plus 14 plus 18 plus 11 plus 13 plus 14 plus 13 plus 17 plus 15 plus 8 plus 16 plus 13. Everything we are going to use to divide by the total number of data entries, which already we found to be 14. Okay, if you count them, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, in 2 places, that is 14. So then we can get the value of the median to be, let's take our calculator for this. So we have, I will just take all of this. All right, so I have 8 plus 18 plus 10 plus 14 plus 18 plus 11 plus 13 plus 14 plus 13 again plus 17 plus 15 plus 8 plus 16, and then the last entry 13. You can do well to just check are all these data entries, are they correct? Hope there's no mistake anywhere. And once we do that, we can press the equal to sign. So that is 188. So the average value is 188 over 14, and 188 over 14 is, let's say, our answer divided by 14. So that is 13.428571. We can approximate it to 13.43. So let's say this is 13.43. But nobody asks us to find the average score. They didn't ask us to find the mean score. They were asking us to find the number of students that scored above the mean score. So all we need to look at is how many numbers from the data entry do we have that are greater than 13.43. Definitely 13 will not be there because 13 is not greater than 13.43. So we start from 14, and in that case we look at this one. Okay, 14, we have 15. Okay, we have 18, we have 16, we have 18 here again, we have 17 here, and we have 14 here. Okay, look at the other numbers: 8, 10, 11, 13, 13, 8, and 13. Those are not greater than the average score. So you just want to count them. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 students scored above the mean score. So our answer here is that 7 of them scored above the mean score, and that is option D. So that's all we are going to be having in our lecture today. We hope that this will be of benefit, of use to somebody out there. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of resources that you can use to enhance your academic excellence, and that's our desire, that you go out and be the best. And as you do all this, we know that all will work out together for good. Until next time, God bless you.